Well. Day 50 freaking 4? Shoot. Why is my memory so bad? I literally just typed it. Day 53? Day 54. Christ. Here we are again. Is there an easy way for me to see? Because my titles are way too long, okay? So then I should maybe put at the very beginning of the title. Christ. We're going to go with day 53. Okay. Welcome to day... Oh, you know what? Oh, wait. What am I doing? I have a thumbnail that I created recently. Hello, Nala. Hello, guys. Watch me fail being a streamer and also fail at being a human being because I don't know how to count or keep memory. Day 53. I knew it. Welcome, guys, to day 53 of my live streaming journey. Wow, we're still here. Here's Nala. She's showed up on time for the past couple days. Good girl. Good on you. Is Kimbap here? Kimbap is also here. Yo, the whole fam. Or at least his ass is here. Let's see if we can adjust this a little bit. Sorry, buddy. How can we do this? No, this way. Alright, well, we can't do anything about the way he's looking, you know? Kimbap, the camera's this way. Okay, maybe we'll poke him on the ass real quick. Yeah! There you go! Wow, that worked! Okay, I guess when you want to do things, you just poke him in the ass. Okay, guys, welcome, guys, to day 53 of our live stream. That means we have streamed 53 days now. Yeah, well, we got back from our 2-week trip to shoot the Nikon ZR project. So, of course, we're going to get into all of that fun stuff. But first, let me say hello to Elle. And Elle, you were the first one in the chat. So let me make sure to reward you for being here on time and for engaging. Let me look for your name in our little points thing. Elle, where are you? You know what? I actually talked with ChatGPT earlier to figure out. So we've been playing around with this idea of like, can we actually have like a Team Canon versus Team Nikon versus Team Sony and all the others? And I wanted to see if there's a way that I can create like a flare or a badge or whatever you call it that shows up on the username of the people who've like submitted the information that they're like they're Team Canon, let's say, and then there'd be a little Canon logo or something. I thought that'd be pretty cool. Unfortunately, I just don't know how to... I'm not a coder. I don't know much about any of these things. But yeah, ChatGPT gave a bunch of suggestions. I couldn't make sense out of it. So we'll take care of it later. But anyways, thank you, Elle, for being the first one to chat. I've given you 300 of our beautiful prize pixels, aka I gave you some PPs. You had asked, should I make the content now or wait until I can do it fully? I have no idea what you're talking about. Should I make the content now or wait until I can do it fully? Okay, without knowing what content you're referring to, I might have missed a message. It didn't pop up on the screen. So without knowing that, I think, and you know what? I even bookmarked recently someone, like an inspirational message. You should always just, not always, but I think you should just go for it. Don't wait for it to be done in full, because if there's one issue that I always run into as a quote-unquote self-described perfectionist, the problem is that by the time you've got it done fully, everyone else has lapped you, or time has passed to the point where it's obsolete, whatever you're working on. So just make the content now, forget about making it 100% perfect, and then yeah, it's just more about consistency and just putting something real out into the world as opposed to waiting for that perfect one. Okay, let me read what you said. You said, I want to do a shutter speed comparison, but I'm missing 2 out of 9 cameras in the series. Or would 7 be enough? Interesting. You know what? I think 7's enough. You have the majority, right? So you can even make a comment about like, hey, I have 7 of the 9. Or you can just say, hey, I'm going to be doing a test with these 7 different cameras, right? Later on, we might be able to test out with 2 additional ones, and that'll be like a follow-up video. But just put the video out there. And it's easy for me to say. It's easy for everyone to say to someone else. But it is one of those things where if I knew my weakest point, one of the weak points is the fact that I am too much of a perfectionist. I over-prepare, over-plan, overthink is probably the best way to say it. And I just need to do more often. Elle, you said got ads as soon as you started talking, but I'm back now. Okay, I don't think you missed anything, probably, until I just started talking now. Low Bass, what's up? Hello. Welcome. And what's up, Nico? Yo, you guys are here. You guys are ready. Right now it's 5:30 p.m. I have a photo shoot early in the morning tomorrow. It's going to be a full day of shooting. So most likely we're going to do like, let's call it like a 2-hour stream, just so I can have enough time to, you know, dial down for the night and prepare myself for tomorrow's photo shoot. It's a pretty standard photo shoot tomorrow. It's like a corporate event style thing. So hopefully it shouldn't be anything too crazy, but I just got to make sure mentally I'm prepared and in the mindset to do the shoot properly. Hey LB. Oh, you know, I never considered calling you LB. LBG. LB. All right, anyways, low base. I've started coding that this morning. Oh, nice. Oh, okay, yeah, because I am so slow with reading chat. You said I've started coding that this morning. I'm assuming that was in reference to what I was just talking about with this whole team, blah, blah, blah. I'm literally looking at it now. Nice, nice. Yo, L, see, sometimes you just got to take the chance. You just got to reach out and grab it. So you've gained 300 PPs and now you've doubled it. Good on you. Okay, so I joined to say hello. I have a lesson in half an hour, so see you tomorrow. Thank you, Nico, for saying hello. That's always considerate of you. And thanks for being here. Enjoy your lesson. I'm not sure what lesson you're having, but hopefully you learn. I hope you sit down and you listen and you learn. What else should I talk about? Well, guys, it's been fun. Yesterday was a really cool stream, right? We had actual legit YouTubers that had hopped into the chat, most likely because of the whole Nikon ZR that I was putting in the titles. I think the algorithms actually worked out in our favor finally. And so we had these like really big YouTubers pop into the chat. They gave some super chats. They were super nice and super, right? But anyways, yeah, it was a good day. We got, you know, it was cool. It was very fun. And we made some progress on a few different things. And also the YouTube video is doing pretty well. Oh, wait, that reminds me. I got to do the pins. I always forget. Okay, so let me type in the chat. Nico, you said you're doing maths. Okay, well, I don't envy you. Holy Christ. God, I hated... I enjoyed time in school, but I enjoyed the things we had to do, right? The academic side of it. I don't think I've retained anything from any of my classes. But good luck to you. I hated calculus the most. And then every math class ever in university. Yeah. Anyways, good luck to you. Okay, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah, promo, ! Promo. So if you have never seen this video that I've published on my YouTube channel a week ago, or if you love it so much, or you want to support me, any of the above, right? And you like to rewatch it, whatever, click on this link. This is the 5-minute short documentary that I had made. All of it was shot with the Nikon ZR, and that's the main topic essentially for the next few days as we're working on a few more projects, or we're just trying to like finish a product review for this camera. And then I need to make a few different like other content like Instagram reels and stuff just for fun, and also just while the hype is still there. So let me remind myself now. So I'm going to pin these messages that I just put in there. Pin this message. Yes. Cool. Let's do a full. I don't know why it does like it gives me a timer. Okay. Let's do the same thing for Kick and YouTube. So let me pin this guy. Where'd it go? Pin message. And then for Kick, let's pin message. Cool. All right, look at us. We're being very professional, okay? Things are working properly. All right, what else is happening? So guys, yeah, the video's been doing really well. Listen, we're such a new YouTuber, and like sometimes videos do really well, sometimes they don't. And as far as I could tell, this video's doing pretty well, you know? It's like I'm seeing that it's slowly being picked up by the algorithms. Sometimes these things just like take time, sometimes they don't. I've had, yeah. So anyways, either way, like I've had a lot of fun filming this, but it's kind of cool to see people typing comments into the video, just giving their thoughts or, you know, just whether it's compliments or like top, you know, questions about the ZR and things like that. It's been really cool to see the engagement on this video. So we hope we can continue doing that as much as possible. I have had some videos in the past pop off, but those are all, for the most part, okay, I'm not doing myself justice, but like some videos in the past on my budding YouTube channel, it popped off, but that was all part of like an ad campaign that was being run in association with it. So like, I don't really take credit for some of those videos popping off. because it was just like an advertisement. So yeah, like for those reasons, I think this one, I'm very happy to see that people are enjoying it. And yeah, we're going to keep trying to make awesome content like that. So anyways, but while we're here, we are trying to obviously talk as much about the Nikon ZR. And the hype is real, guys. I really do feel, and I've been spending all day just working on that product review and just kind of working on the scripting for it and stuff like that. Yeah, so as I've been reviewing my notes and thinking about what I will share or discuss about this camera, I feel more and more strongly that this is definitely a contender, or it's definitely not a flub. Is that a right word? A fluke? Yes, Nala. We don't
Nala, we don't go to the Shadowland.
Thank you. You know what? I've been noticing that Nala keeps copying whatever Kimbap is doing. So, for instance, I don't know what happened to Kimbap, but, you know, obviously she's taken over the bed. And then Kimbap earlier today, he was chilling on the couch near me, and I look over, Nala's in the exact freaking spot as where he was. So I don't know what's happening, but we got a doppelganger situation going on. Yeah, so welcome Nala, and wherever Kimbap is, he's gone. It is what it is, all right? Anyways, so yeah, as I've been doing these reviews, and I'm reviewing the footages and everything like that, I do feel like this camera is going to do really well in the market. I feel like a lot of people, it's been kind of cool. It's been fun seeing in the comments, people messaging, being like, oh yeah, I've pre-ordered the camera. Thank you for after watching this video, that kind of stuff. I mean, they could be lying, sure. And maybe I'm taking too much credit, but it's cool to see that people are excited about the camera is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I genuinely do feel like this is a very promising sign for what's to come. So the fact that they're launching this camera at, as far as I can tell, it's like $2,200 USD. So at that price point, to have all of these very pro cinema features built into the camera, and yeah, also in my opinion, marketing itself to be a camera that doesn't necessarily need to be rigged up with all the other accessories, I do feel like this is a standalone camera that, or I guess a compact cinema camera that a lot of people should be ending up buying. So what does this mean? Well, hopefully it's successful, and then because I have a good relationship with Nikon, maybe that means their business will thrive, and then from there they're gonna have more money to then pump out new products into the market, and then maybe they'll keep reaching out to me to be like, hey, you know, we loved your videos so much, we're gonna keep asking you to do more videos. And I'll be like, of course, absolutely, sign me up. And yeah, we'll see what happens from there. So anyways, okay, slightly joking aside, what we're gonna do is I'm just looking through a lot of these footages, and I want to start kind of determining which of these shots probably are the best shots to put into our product review. I did time myself off stream based on the latest script that I have, to kind of get a sense of how long is this video. I believe the video is going to be roughly 11 to 12 minutes long. So I think that's right in the ballpark I was hoping for. I was assuming like, okay, maybe I'll go for 10. And then I see most people usually do like a 15-minute review, something like that. So we're right in the middle of that. I think that's good. And in terms of my review, so as far as what I've written so far, it kind of focuses on a few things. So for instance, in the opening hook, and when I talk about who is this camera for, I mentioned that this is meant for people like me, right? An aspiring filmmaker, solo, run and gun traveler, that kind of person, right? And also for people like small crews, if you're like doing documentaries or weddings or you know, that branded content, I think this camera is probably right up your alley. And then especially with that price tag, I mean, it means you can, you know, use your savings to buy a bunch of other gear, or technically the other accessories you might need, without breaking the bank. So for the same cost of buying, let's say like a Sony FX3, you could buy this Nikon ZR, buy the rigging for it, purchase the best microphone, extra batteries, memory cards, whatever else you need, and still end up spending less than the price of just the camera for Sony. I think that's a big selling point. So anyway, so then the 4 features that I'm going to talk about in my product review is obviously we're going to talk about the red quality. So like the red codec, how's the quality, what can you shoot with it, the different ISOs that I shoot with within it. So very, very brief, but then obviously I'll show a lot of B-roll footages from my shoot. The second feature will be on the audio, right? So we're going to talk about that 32-bit float. We'll have a bunch of examples. I'll show the shotgun mic as well that that Nikon has also launched or announced in tandem with the camera. Then the third feature is the in-body image stabilization. So for someone like me that never uses gimbals usually, that was actually really nice. And then we have some test shots to actually show or prove that you can run and gun with this camera. And then the fourth feature is the 4-inch display. So that beautiful, beautiful screen that essentially, in my opinion, renders the 5-inch monitors, the external monitors, obsolete in many circumstances, and hopefully in mine as well. So as far as I can tell, I can totally survive with the 4-inch screen as opposed to having an Atomos external monitor, stuff like that, which is super heavy. Actually, imagine you got to stick the Atomos on top of your camera or off to the side, because you might have a shotgun mic as well. And that means both of these cables are hooked up to the side of your camera. That means you have the rigging, the cage on your camera as well. And then the Atomos also has a bulky battery that you got to slap on there. It's got a memory card that which is also pretty large that you slap into the back of it. And then here you are carrying something that weighs maybe 2 times as what it started with. And then you might need a gimbal because of all that extra weight you've attached on there, unless you're steady hand holding. So anyways, all of that is rendered obsolete. I just shoot handheld, beautiful audio already, or even with the shotgun mic that I was using, it was like super small, and it did a good job. So yeah, so that's the fourth feature. And then let me just read what you said here. So low base, you said, I love now that I've basically bankrupted myself for the next 2 weeks buying my mom's accessibility stuff because the VA sucks. My chat translator sub has chosen this moment to expire. So no foreign language streams for me at the moment. Oh man, that's yeah, you know what? Yeah, there's like so many things I don't think about that cost money that, you know, you just like to have anything up and running, there's like a constant cost that we don't necessarily see the direct effects of or the impacts of until it's gone. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I know, I remember you mentioned, yeah, your mom was recovering from, did you say it was like a second stroke? Or at the very least, I know she's recovering from a stroke. So hopefully, at the very least, hopefully she's recovering smoothly. But yeah. 2 strokes back to back. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, also as a testament to your mom, how strong she is, right? The fact that she's handling that, and you know, that's a lot for anybody to have to take, you know, to experience. So, yeah, I wish you well, man. It doesn't sound ideal, obviously. Anti AP1 anti pluoc. No, shoot. Anti ploic. Well, firstly, thank you for being in the chat. I think this is your first time viewer or chatter, so thank you for engaging in our stream here. Does the camera overheat? You know what? I didn't put any notes in my script about it, but maybe I should. Now, the camera is a fanless. It uses a fanless heat dissipation mechanism, which is something that a few reviewers have pointed out, you know, as a criticism or there as a concern, right? Because it's like, oh, well then, you know, if you're shooting this in like really, really hot environments, maybe it'll die on you pretty quickly and stuff like that. I wasn't in a situation where I had the time to necessarily test that to its fullest. I didn't experience any overheating, and I was in pretty hot environments. So Uganda, I mean, it wasn't like extremely hot, but it was hot enough that I got a pretty nice sunburn across the face and my arms. And I think it was probably around 20, I think it was like maybe 26 degrees at times. It got pretty hot, okay? And for instance, here I was filming a bunch of interviews, and even with Dr. Rakundo during the entire interview, I believe this was about an hour. Let's see, 22:15. Yeah, so this was basically close to an hour of just like, I think I was filming this in 4K 24 in RAW. So this is raw red codec 4K 24, and I never had issues for what it's worth. Like the battery was fine, no heat warnings or things like that. So I had only 3 days to film, so I didn't have a good enough sample size or enough time to really test it. So I'm hesitant to say that the camera does not overheat. In my usage, it did not ever, there was never any warning signs. I never got close to like an overheating issue. And I filmed all day. I was filming from before sunrise, then in the mid-morning, afternoon, 2 p.m., 5 p.m., in between interviews for like over an hour or so. So like I was shooting the entire day for the 3 days that I was filming, and yeah, never had issues. What's up, Brendan? BC says, good morning. No audio this morning. Oh, you scared me. I was like, oh shoot, is my audio? Wait, hold on. Let me make sure everything's fine. We had issues the other day where for some reason I had, without realizing, I dropped my audio levels completely. Okay, so you said, good morning, no audio this morning as I forgot my headphones and I'm here in the office but wanted to be sure I was here to support and grow my PP even more. Wow, keep your language PG there. But let me say thank you at BCONNELOY photo for your epic PP support. AP1. You said, thank you for your thorough answer. It's the one thing that scares me a bit regarding the Nikon ZR. Interesting. Well, I'm glad you're appreciative of my answer because it wasn't a full answer, or like I can't give you the proper answer that you're hoping for. But yeah, like I said, I just didn't have that issue. It never, like, yeah, I've had issues before. Like for instance, last year I was filming in a country in the dead of summer, and I was just doing interview after interview after interview. And for those ones, especially the ones where I did interviews outside in the heat, I was shooting with the Nikon Z8 and the Z9. With the Z8, after over an hour and a half, I think, of interviewing straight, I would get that little warning sign. And then I did actually end up in situations where it would overheat, and I'd have to quickly swap out the... what did I have to swap out? I swapped out the memory card. Yeah, because the memory card was overheating. The Z9 was perfectly fine throughout. Now, that's not really helpful because I don't know to what extent the ZR is comparable to any of those other Z line. I just know it shares the same sensors as Z6 III. But yeah, anyway, sorry. I'm kind of going on a tangent because it's not really helpful. But yeah, I didn't have any overheating issues. I interviewed for over an hour. I was filming throughout the day in pretty broad daylight and in hot environments. No issues whatsoever. But yes, thank you for the questions. And yeah, I will say, if that's the only thing that scares you about the ZR, then you're in a very, very good place. Because, okay, just only speaking for myself, so I don't do necessarily a lot of like professional kind of like filmmaking or cinematography. I don't do a lot of like corporate filming events kind of stuff or commercials, things like that. Not to say I wouldn't want to. It's just I've never, in my entire quote-unquote career or pursuit of like photography and videography, I've never really been in a situation where I felt like, oh, as part of what I do, I need to attach this camera to a gimbal and I need to build up that whole rig to get this shot. So in that sense, I don't really have much advice to give because I just haven't done that much. But the way I normally shoot is I'll travel somewhere for anywhere. Let's say maybe I'll travel for 1 week to 2 weeks to a country. I'm oftentimes going to that country for wildlife. So we'll be going out there to, like, again, just try to capture as much wildlife moments. In this case, it was capturing a story with wildlife. So it was about the rescued chimps at this island. So it was a nice mix of people, wildlife, nature. So that's why I thought when I pitched this as a location, as a project to Nikon, I thought it'd be a good example to really test out the camera, because then you're testing on all kinds of subjects and different environments and terrains. So yeah, normally I'll be traveling for like 1 to 2 weeks, and then during that time, I am hand-holding everything. You never know where wildlife is going to show up. Sometimes you're hiking to get to the wildlife. Sometimes you're in a bumpy Jeep, and you need to have a beanbag, and you might have like a telephoto lens, and you slap it onto the side of the car, and you're trying to film that way. Other times, like, you know, for gorillas, chimpanzees, you're in the jungle and you're hiking, and you have to quickly have your camera out, put it back in your bag, keep hiking, chase after the chimps, or they come right at you, right? Other times I'm on a boat for like shoebill storks or other animals. Maybe you're doing like a boat cruise. Yeah, so anyways, the point is, like, you end up in so many different terrains where having a gimbal makes 0 sense. Having extra equipment attached also makes 0 sense. The only time, sometimes I would have an Atomos attached to my camera, but that was never for like functional reasons. That was always for the fact that I thought I needed to record my screen for like potential reviews and stuff. Yeah. So anyways, I try to shoot as light as possible, where I just rely on the camera, the lens, an ND filter, and then swap out batteries and memory cards. So, and then shotgun mic at times. Jeremy says, live streaming again. Rock on, my man. Yes, listen, every day. We are always committed to what we're passionate about, okay? If there's one thing you'll learn about me is that I love grinding in the plutonic sense. I love working hard, right? That kind of stuff. It's just a nice mentality. It comes from my sporting background back in the day. I was doing wrestling since I was like the age of 4, because of my dad, who was an Olympic wrestler. So he came in with this extreme mindset, and he kind of forced it on us as kids. But I'm thankful for it, because it did teach me a lot about sacrifice and just being singularly focused on things and whatever. So yeah. But yes, we're gonna be here every day, unless tomorrow we right as I'm saying we're gonna be here every day. I'm like, oh wait, hold on a second. Tomorrow I may be able to stream, but probably not, because I will be at a corporate photo shoot all day. It's like a full day thing, so most likely I will not be here tomorrow. But yes, welcome back, Jeremy. And Jeremy, thank you again for joining the stream yesterday. But then also for letting me know that those YouTubers are actual YouTubers, not like a viewer, but these guys were like legit. So I actually spent a bit of time. I didn't have enough time, but I did watch a few of their videos, and man, these guys are like very knowledgeable, very entertaining, very much have a brand. So I think I'll keep watching their videos and like learn from them as well. And then Jeremy, you as well. I believe you are a YouTuber, so kind of cool. We're building out a YouTube community in tandem with the Twitch, and hopefully one day Quick Kick will have a community as well. But at least on the Twitch side is very strong. Hello, Photo Elite says, the fact that the ZR has the memory card slots right next to the battery is going to make it more prone to overheating the memory cards, and that's not something the camera reads. It tells you if the core temperature of the camera overheats, but it won't tell you the memory cards are pretty much on fire. That's a really good point. Yeah, you know what? That's a very, very good point. Yeah, because I felt slightly indifferent, but also slightly, okay, maybe less than neutral, but not like overly so, when I saw that the memory card was positioned in the bottom slot. I think some of the reviews that I read, or some of the concerns, were more around like, depending on how you attach it to a tripod, maybe you're not going to be able to open out the battery port easily. So that could be a hindrance. But it could also be a showstopper for some, depending on what kind of filming you do. So that was one thing that was raised, is the fact that the placement of the battery and the placement of the memory card is an issue. And then to your point, which I didn't think about, placement of the memory card near the battery could lead to it overheating faster. So good point. Yeah, and it wouldn't be something necessarily that maybe my camera will notify me of. But yeah, unfortunately, I never got to do a full-on stress test like that, so I'm not sure. But it's a good point. Something to keep in mind. Hey camera, MFGs, mother effing G's. What does MFG stand for? Create a feature to where the screen data can be overlaid from an internal file, so that we do not have to have an external recorder to record camera settings. Yeah, dude. I raised this point before, but I think it's just more like it just takes a lot. Obviously it's easy for us as consumers to like suggest things, and then I'm sure in the back end, the developers, the engineers are all just like screaming at us when we say, hey, just do this, right? But I remember at one point I was thinking like, yeah, it'd be nice if the camera could just do an internal screen recording, right? In the same way that you can record your screen on your iPhone and stuff like that. It's like, could you just not create a very, very low resolution file of whatever's on the screen, so I don't need to necessarily have it on an external monitor? But I'm assuming there's legit reasons why they don't do that. It is what it is. But yeah, I get what you're saying, man. I'm with you on this. What's up, Troy, Anthony, Photo, Mr. Tap, as we say here. Thanks for being here, Tap. Jeremy said, like you, man, they are out there digging in and sharing. I am a commercial producer. Ooh, okay. But apart from a few old personal vids, I do not YouTube. I want to start doing BTS wildlife and community stuff. Nice, nice. BTS wildlife. I will tell you, as someone who's been doing a lot of wildlife in the past few years, it is so much fun. Once you go wildlife, you just don't want to go to anything else because, well, yeah, especially if you have the right gear, because there's nothing cooler than having the right gear, capturing a moment with the wild animal, knowing that there's probably the chance of anyone else having the shot that you just took. Well, it could most likely be zero, right? Unless there were other Jeeps or other photographers with you at the same time. But yeah, there's the feeling of exclusivity when you see whatever animal is in front of you, and it could literally just be you and the animal, and that's it. Taking a shot or a video of whatever's happening, and knowing that it's unpredictable, that you can't command the animal to do what you want or to strike a pose like you could in a commercial or in a closed environment or whatever. You get what you get, and there's something about that relinquishing of control, but then accepting of whatever happens, that is like very liberating as a photographer. It has its downsides as well. Like for instance, doing Jeep safaris like in Africa, I thoroughly enjoy it, and that is one of the greatest ways to capture some of the coolest shots out there of these crazy, wild animals. However, oftentimes you'll go on these safaris and there will be like 12 other Jeeps all around you, and the moment there's a sighting of a leopard or whatever, a cheetah, it's like the report goes out, and then all of a sudden throughout the beautiful terrain landscape, the savannas or wherever you're at, all of a sudden you hear the sounds of like 15 Jeeps racing as close to you as possible. Then they make all this noise. Let's say you're one of the first people there, and all of a sudden the animal's disturbed. Someone's blocking your shot. Someone is breaking rules and getting too close or talking too loudly, or, all of a sudden, all of this comes into play where now not only does it feel a little bit like a zoo, but it's also making you super annoyed, and you start getting angry when a Jeep crosses your camera line of view or scares off an animal or does something they shouldn't. And I don't know, I had these moments where I don't like how I am when I get into those modes of just being so angry. And it's like, yo, I'm traveling to this beautiful place, not necessarily for vacation, but it is very much to be in my meditation Zen-like mode. And to then feel angry while I'm in this mode, it's like, it's not productive, it's counterintuitive or counterproductive. So anyways, I've been trying to stay away from too many of those kind of like Jeep safari stuff. That's why I love so much the chimp treks and the gorilla treks, because they literally monitor the size of the groups of people that go to each family of chimps or gorillas. So yeah, you won't end up in this weird overcrowded, everyone's surrounding an animal, which is not good for the animals, it's not good for anything. So okay, anyways, I don't know why I was talking so far into that. Photo, you said, oh yeah, forget switching the batteries if it's on a tripod. Yeah, so that's I need to add that to my notes actually, so let me go ahead and do that, because I think that's probably a good little thing to talk about. So let's say battery, and well, the battery is always on the bottom, so that's not really a thing, but maybe the memory card just waits position. Memory card neck in battery, sharing battery slot and on bottom could make it difficult to swap out if on a tripod. Okay. Photo, you said you're gonna lurk for a bit and hit the shower. Listen, I don't know how to feel about you listening. If my voice is on while you're showering, I don't know how to feel about that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but no, thanks for being here and for lurking. Photo, oh no, sorry, BC said, I wish I had closed captions. Oh yeah, that's right, because you don't have your headphones. Listen, that's a you problem. I can't believe you forgot headphones. It's okay, BC. Just imagine I'm saying wonderful things about Team Canon and Tom Cruise's annoying Maverick video. Manufacturers, LOL. Manufacturers. Oh, is that when I was... Oh, I see. When I asked what is MFG. Hey, camera manufacturers. Ah, okay. We're learning acronyms. Create a feature. I see. Okay. I think I liked mine better, but yeah. But yeah, anyways, if you're getting into wildlife, let me know if you ever have questions. Because at this point, I will say I have a lot more experience shooting wildlife than most people out there. I'm very, very blessed is one way to say it. I'm very fortunate for sure to have had so many trips around the world shooting for wildlife. If you are new to the stream, for instance, right now, if you've tuned in or if you've joined the stream in the past few days since I've come back, right now all you're seeing is chimpanzees after chimpanzees and more chimpanzees. I would like you to know I do more than chimpanzees. I also do gorillas, monkeys, okay? And baboons. We do lots of different wildlife. Obviously, this one I was dedicating for the chimps, and I do have a huge affinity towards like shooting the apes. But yeah, we've been very, very fortunate to travel all of last year. Let me see if I can quickly pop open. Here we go. Okay. Just for fun, we're going to go down a little bit of memory lane of all the footages that I still have to get to. So this is what I hope will be very exciting for anyone who's watching the streams and wants to understand like what kind of editing we'll be doing for the rest of the year and for who knows how long, depending on how slow I am about it. So for instance, I mentioned we were doing some Mongolia. So these are not all of them. These are just some of the clips that I had kind of saved from earlier. I was testing with the Nikon ZR III on this trip, I believe. And so I was shooting at 240 frames per second. So we have a bunch of like, yeah, so Mongolia was another trip I went on. I think I went 3 times now or 2 times. But this time I went again into a different part of the region. We were searching for the palace cat, where we were fairly unsuccessful. I only got to see it once off in the distance. We learned a lot from that trip, but I am excited to go back with my learnings. But yeah, while we were there, we were spending time with the eagle hunters again. And I was able to test out the 240 frames per second shooting with the Nikon ZR III. It is a bit softer because this is in HD, so this is a 1080 240 frames. But then I used Topaz to upscale this into 4K. Troy, you said, "LOL, I'll have to make that clear, not just chimps." Yeah, you know what? I think I'm chimping myself out here too much with all these chimps. Okay, so sorry guys, that just blew into my eardrums there. Probably yours as well. Okay, what can we show? Key footages. Is this all of them? I believe this is the main area. Oh, okay, that's why I'm on the wrong days here. So we're gonna get to like a we're gonna get to a trip I went to in Sri Lanka where we were able to, you know, go. It was a very, very quick trip. I went with a bunch of Nikon photographers. Basically, I was like the tour leader. I had organized a very, very quick, I think it's like a 4 to 5 day tour in Sri Lanka. And so we had a bit of sightings, not like the craziest amount of sightings, because we only did like I think one or like just a couple Jeep safaris. But yeah, we have some of these leopards. Yeah, different animals, right? So we have so much time to go through all of this. And when I say we have so much to go through, I do mean it. Of course, we have our shoebill stork. This is a trip where I took a few photographers out. And we did make some very viral videos out of the shoebill stork. So, very excited to get back to this. And this animal is one of my favorite. It is just such a weird looking animal. Here, let's just play it from here. This animal, this bird, this dinosaur is massive too. It is not a tiny ass bird. This bird is like taller than the desk, probably like yay high. It could definitely eat my cats in like one gulp. But yeah, so we have a bunch of crazy things that we haven't had time to really go through. So that's what we're going to do. Zimbabwe, of course, is going to be very fun. We had a lot of, obviously these are not wild animals, but I spent a whole month in Zimbabwe, mix of like some of the national parks for safaris. And then also I spent about a week at a horse ranch and had so much fun filming all these beautiful horses, you know, throughout the day, you know, in the fields with like mist coming out of their mouths and stuff. It was very, very fun. Cool stuff. So we haven't had time to go through any of this, and that's going to be fun to go through. And of course, we've got, let's see. the standing elephants in Zimbabwe. A little bit of behind the scenes. But yeah, we got so much stuff to get through. Holy crap. Yeah, hold on. Anyways. Key footages. Videos, exports, 2025. No. Live stream. Nope. Key footage. Me and my gear. Sorry, it's been a while since I looked at all this. So I'm trying to remember. How did I organize things? Oh yeah, and then this is in Zimbabwe again. And this is right in front of the lodge. So at the lodge that we were staying at, there's a swimming pool. So then the elephants would come in to drink the fresh water from the pool. Which for guests that are there, if that happens, you're like not complaining. For the hotel owners or the facilities, it would mean they have to drain the water and then refill it up again, because obviously it's not hygienic to have guests swimming in whatever elephant infested, drinking water now. Yeah. Anyways, we're getting a bit distracted, but I'm just kind of going down like, okay, I'm also reminding myself that we have so much to get through. So while we're only now on episode 2 of Mongolia, and we're working through this product review for this Chimp Island, we have I think 10 to 12 other countries that we've been to in the past year where we need to get through all the footage. So anyways, more reason to work faster, unlike what I'm doing now. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go here. Let's go into our color mode. Now these are the proper, I say proper, but these are the files direct from the camera without any other conversions. So now that DaVinci, I have the updated version of the firmware, it looks like I am able to do the proper conversion. So for instance, let me go to my power grade. I go ahead and apply this, and hopefully it should be doing everything properly. So in the proper color space and the gamma. And then let's go ahead and copy it over to everything else. And then we'll take a moment to review all the files, but let's see here. So I think yesterday we were having a conversation. I forget who it was in the chat was mentioning they're a big fan of the greens from Nikon. I apologize because I can't remember exactly who said that. And I do agree. I'm a big fan of the colors that come in from both the NRAW, but then also now with this new red codec. But just to be honest, as always, I don't have a lot of comparisons. I've never shot with the Sony or Canon, so I couldn't say, hey, are the colors better than with the other cameras? Who knows? I can't say. But I can say, at the very least from my side, the colors look really nice. It feels very cinematic, and I like it, so. L thing, you said finish shooting it and the format didn't want to transfer to my phone, so time to download DaVinci to cut it together in there. Nice, nice. See, I think I'm glad to hear that, because I also need to take a page out of that book, L, and just do it, as opposed to trying to make everything perfect. Dang, L thing, you lost all your PPs. All right, you know what? Let me try to do the same. Just do it. Gamble all. Let's see what happens. Good job, BC. BC's always winning. Oh, damn it. I only had 400, so we'll catch back up. Low base is catching up. Good on you, low base. Okay, one thing I need to listen for as we're watching all this is the audio. So for instance, that one, the audio sounds beautiful, right? Just because the bird chirping there was a slightly different type of bird. I have no idea what it was. Let's pause the music. Let's see how that sounds again. And then here's a good test of how good or not is the dynamic range. So Obviously, we can see here we're shooting against the sun. And I think this one is okay. As far as I can tell. Yeah, okay. So in this case, nothing was overexposed. I don't know if there's a better way to test it. I guess if I look at the waveform here, but honestly, I couldn't tell you. I'm not an expert. But at the very least, it seems like everything's fine. So I wasn't, clipping in the highlights. I can drop this down if I need to. I can lift the shadows. And, but yeah, so to have that nice dynamic range where definitely in the past with my other cameras, I feel like this would have either ended up being overexposed, or something would have to give. Either I expose correctly for his skin tone and the chimps, or I'm exposing for the background. It would be really tough for me to do both. Same thing here. Yeah, that's a nice shot. But yeah, I think I need to focus more on, maybe we'll focus first on the chimp shots. And let's convert everything. Conversion time. Grab everything. Let's go to the power grade and apply. All right, what is this? This is the 4K 120. Let's go to the 6K 30. We did this yesterday, but then I reset everything, or I forget what I did, but oh no, we did it on an older timeline that I need to get rid of. Nope. Okay. Is that it? Okay, that's it. And then these are all the BTS stuff. So then let's just start with the 6K 60. Christ, we do have a lot of footage to get through. Oh wait, I won. Oh no, I lost on my Twitch chat. But on my YouTube chat, I won 3,050 prize pixels. Nice. Okay. I have the benefit. Oh yeah, I guess if you are watching my channel from multiple platforms, technically you can win points different ways. Okay, let's look at the footages. Okay, definitely I know these are some of the footage I need to use because I was testing the audio here. So now this is all mode, pure mode. The all pure mode, let's just say. So you guys tell me, and we'll see later obviously how the sound is. If you see me looking around a lot, it's because I keep getting bit by bugs, or we have these like lake flies around here, so I have a battle for my life right now. Last thing, let's go switch this to the rear. So now in this rear mode, maybe you might not be. So what did I say? So I was testing the shotgun mic. Let me jump. I'm going to jump back to front mode. And now we were in focus. Let's go ahead and choose pure. So there's like two kind of switches you can play around with. I need to double check because I think I have it mistaken, which is, I think on the website it was saying the focus mode is meant for people's voices and pure mode is meant for ambient and like everything. But I can't tell because, like, to be honest with you, when I switched it to pure mode, I felt like it sounded like my voice was a little bit more airy, or like, not airy, it was like deeper and like boomier. Let me jump. I'm going to jump back to front mode. Here, let me turn up the volume. And now we were in focus. Let's go ahead and choose pure. So there's like two kind of switches you can play around with. So one of the options you can switch between is focus and pure. All of this so far was on focus mode. Now we are on pure mode. Like, I guess I kind of like the sound from the pure mode. Same thing. Let me switch over to the all mode. And obviously this was capturing more ambient. So now this is all mode, pure mode. The all pure mode. There's a lot more wind noise that was being captured. Again, I didn't have the wind muff or the dead cat to put on this at the time. So I don't know if it's coincidence that all of a sudden the wind noise is being picked up after I chose to shoot for more ambient sound. Front mode, focus mode on the shotgun mic. I'm going to switch this now to the all mode. So now it's on all. So I don't know if that means it should be capturing a bit more ambient sound besides just whatever's in front of the camera. So you guys be the judge. All right, so or it will actually record, which is kind of nice. All right, so the thing I wanted to test though is right now, this is in front mode, focus mode on the shotgun mic. I'm going to switch this now to the all mode. So now it's on all. So I don't know if that means it should be capturing a bit more ambient. One thing that was another cool feature of this with the ZR, which maybe I've never seen it before, Not that I've done a lot of selfie things. Actually, I have. Never mind. I take it back. But anyways, when I would do the recording in selfie mode, there was a timer that would show up on the screen. So basically, I would hit record, and then it would say like, I don't know, like 3, 2, 1, and then it would record. So I don't know if that's a new feature or it just happens to be the default and it's maybe in the other cameras. I hadn't seen it before, so I was making a brief comment about it at the beginning of that clip. So yeah, it was just a bit more visible in the screen saying like, hey, the recording is about to start. But yeah. And then I was able to turn, I didn't see this option before, but when I am in that selfie mode, you can turn on a feature or in the settings where you essentially turn off.
Hello DaVinci 20, first time using it Kappa.
Actually reads it out, Kappa. Yeah, this is the first time I'm using the new DaVinci, what is it, 20 something, 20.2 or something, I don't know. I need to watch the video and to see what exactly comes with the update. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I'm liking it so far. Not supposed to be redeemed. What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, you just downloaded it, so it'll be fun. Oh, nice. Oh, so yeah, you mentioned you needed to use the DaVinci for your video. I'm assuming this new version should have a lot of cool stuff. You know, one thing I have seen, and I want to test it on my upcoming videos, is the auto masking feature is actually pretty damn good. So actually, let's test it on this one. So let's imagine, I don't know, maybe I need to change my skin tone or something. So if I take this, you're going to watch me fail at this. I'm going to create a new node inside of the balance area. Let's go to, which one is it? This one. And now if I just click on my face and we turn on this one. No. Toggle mask overlay. Yeah. Okay, so now I can see exactly what I clicked on. But literally, just by clicking, it's pretty smart. Like, it's actually doing a decent job. It's not like perfect. Like, you can see it doesn't grab my entire scalp, let's say, or my skin. But then I think if I choose this option that says better, let's see. Okay, so I chose better, and now it did grab all of my skin tone, including my ears. A little bit off, I think, in the sense that it's grabbing a bit of my hair. But generally speaking, it's like fairly good. And in the past, you would just have to draw lines to grab whatever you want to have masked. And you do still have that. If you go in here, there's like a legacy object mask. And then if I hit this little button to like track it, let's see. I forgot to make it so it wasn't grabbing my eyes. But then yeah, anytime you would see it grabs like something it shouldn't or it's missing something, then you should be able to pause it, click on it, and then continue rendering it. But okay, why am I doing this? I don't really need to. Okay, we'll stop it for now. Point is, I do think there's a lot of new and more powerful features on this camera, or sorry, in DaVinci. So I need to spend some time and actually understand what does that actually mean for me. Okay, but anyways, I've highlighted these two because these are probably going to be in the final product review. Let's just drag this in here. And let's get rid of these guys. Okay. Where were we? 6K 60. Okay, damn it. We have so much. So let's grab these guys as well. Okay. Oh, I see. L, you were saying wasn't supposed to be TTS, just a message. Nice. Well, either way, I'm glad it was a voice message. Never complaining. Oh yeah, so let's keep testing here because in this shot it's clearly overexposed. Let's get out of this mode. So it's clearly overexposed. And then we look at the waveform, so we do have some room to drop it down. And yeah. And actually, oh, you know what we can do? I have the ability now. So let's say if I right click this guy, let's find it in the media pool. DSC 2070. I have I can use Photo Mechanic as well, maybe. That might be faster. And then I have that Red Cine X software, but let me just drop this a little bit easier. So we're looking for DSC 2070. What day was this? September 1st. Okay. So September 1st. Video ZR. Okay. Let's look for, am I able to just search 2070? File name. Alright, we'll just 2070. Okay. So if I just look at the MP4 version, so I shot this at ISO 800. I had the white balance at cloudy. And then 35mm lens. Okay. The main thing I just want to see was what was the aperture. Or sorry, not the aperture, the ISO. So I shot this at 800 ISO. At 800 ISO... Damn it. Okay, I wanted a version where maybe I shot at like 1600 or 6400 ISO. So I can just see how much noise and are we able to drop it down. But either way, at the very least, we're seeing that I shot it slightly middle exposure, even if it looked overexposed when I was filming it. But then in the actual footage, we can get it to look more natural or good colors. So I have to be less afraid of shooting with the waveforms in the middle. Elle, you say, can you help real quick? How do you scale the button in edit or zoom in? How do you scale the button in edit or zoom in? Sorry, could you rephrase? Or I'm not understanding you. How do you scale the button in edit or zoom in? If you do like a command plus, so like a control plus or command plus, you can zoom in on your timeline if that's what you're talking about. Or if you hold the control or command button, depending on if you're using like a Mac or something. Or let's see. Oh, I thought there should be a way for me to, come on. Okay, I failed miserably. There's supposed to be some shortcut where you use your mouse scrolling and stuff to like zoom in on each footage, but usually I just do command plus, and then wherever your tracker is or wherever your wherever you are on the timeline, it'll just zoom in on that part, and then command minus to zoom out. In the edit tab, zoom in and out of the timeline. Yeah, okay, so yeah, so basically you just do that. You can do the command plus and minus, or there's a little, if you see where my mouse is over here, there's this little thing that's got the plus and minus, and you can just drag it left and right to zoom fully out of your timeline or zoom fully into your timeline. So that's one way, and then just the keyboard shortcut is plus command or control, and then just do the plus and minus. But yeah, I need to learn more of the shortcuts. I just know like the bare minimum. Okay, I think I'll skip through these ones. Okay, this one I think we'll keep. Oh yeah, so here's a good example. What was this shot? This was shot, find in media pool, 2026. 2026. Okay, same thing. This is ISO 800. Okay, so this is ISO 800. But then here I let it film in this kind of way where, again, my natural inclination would have been like in the moment, I would have been like, oh shoot, let me increase the stops on the ND filter, or even drop this to like, I don't know, ISO 200 or whatever. But in this case, we left it as ISO 800, and we actually did it based on whatever the professionals usually would say, which is, if you look at the waveform, it looks like pretty much in the middle / upper middle section. Let's see how it looks on the histogram. Same thing here, so you can see the middle lines, and the histogram, for the most part, is leaning slightly to the right, which means it's slightly brighter as opposed to darker. And most professionals say this is generally what you want to do. You want the exposure to be slightly over instead of being, as opposed to slightly underexposed. And so then here, in post, what that means is I should be able to drop the curves or you know, do whatever I want to, I guess, with a bit more flexibility without ending up with like super grainy shot or anything else. So then this gives me a lot more ability to drop down the light, where if I had shot in the normal way where it's like super dark, let's imagine this was how I shot it originally, like this, then if I ever wanted to lift the shadows or make it a bit brighter, the cameras, or basically I'm struggling a bit more to actually retain the details in the shadows. So then that's when you introduce a lot of that artifacts or grain or that weird noisy stuff that you don't like. But yeah, like this. Okay, that's a really nice shot. So I think this is a contender as an additional thing maybe that will put to reinforce the point that this camera does really well with the whole 7.5 stops of in-body image stabilization. So the fact that I was just hand-holding the camera and just walking backwards. Okay, I'm going to keep stressing that point, not just on stream, but in the video. Like, yo, look at my backwards walking subject tracking skills, all right? National Geographic, you should hire me just in case you need someone who's got one set of skills, right? One particular set of skills. And maybe it's like, oh, we have this upcoming expedition for this one wildlife, and we want to get a close-up shot of this animal. And they're not afraid of humans. But the thing is, we need someone who can walk backwards so they can stay focused on the animal, but stay stable. Who do we know that can do that? And then boom, here I am. Okay, anyways, let me copy this guy over. So this will be part of the in-body image stabilization topic. And that's maybe one thing I need to do is, let me just double check. Let's double check which feature comes where, and I'll put it in the right ordering. So feature 1 is the red raw, feature 2 is the audio, feature 3 is the stabilization. Yeah, okay, so this is the audio section, and then we'll jump to stabilization later. So yeah, okay. This is probably a good one as well. Yeah, so I think all of these are technically the good examples. Okay, let's just let it play through and hear the audio.
Go.
I had a crazy, yeah, so I think I was doing something on the camera, so you hear that really loud snap sound. Let's just drop it down for now. Photo, you said, I just saw your response to the images I posted. Final Fantasy, that's your frame of reference? Yo, I am like, listen, I was joking with someone recently because they called themselves a weeb. And I was like, oh, I know that word weeb. We learned about it on one of my live streams. And then I actually scoured through my live streams to try to find the day when we had that whole discussion about defining a weeb, where I asked ChatGPT to give me the definition. And then we had ChatGPT make a poem about weebery or weebs. So I'm not a true weeb. As I love animated stuff, I love watching anime. Like right now I'm rewatching, or I'm trying to catch up on One Piece. I love that very much. But I'm not a true yeah, I'm not a true weeb. I'm not a true much of anything, right? In the same way you're questioning like, how did you not know about that one Nikon D something something that someone had in the chat? My sense of like knowledge base for most topics are like pretty much, you know, surface level, let's be real. So yeah, so with that said, I just assumed the photos you shared was something from Final Fantasy VII. Am I wrong? I thought it was, okay, you know what? Let me find it. So you had sent it in the Discord. Yes. Oh yeah, this is a good time for me to put in the chat, !Discord. You can share your photos and videos. We can go through it on streams. We can support each other, all that fun stuff if you join our Discord. Now I believe you put it into the photo section. Oh, here it is. Okay. Open link. So this is so we have some before and afters. Let me click on these guys. Okay. So firstly, thank you again, Photo, for Photolite for sending these photos through. Yeah, so obviously clean edits as always, epic stuff. And I was like, oh, is it? Oh, wait, okay, I could be wrong. Is this again? Not. I just know all the popular stuff. Is this an Arcane reference? Maybe. No, it's not. Okay, this one kind of looked like maybe it's some uniform from Arcane, which I also really love that TV show. You're telling me this is not Final Fantasy VII or something? Or not Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy. Okay, fine. I wouldn't be able to tell you anything otherwise. But good job on the edits at the very least. Super, super awesome. Okay. I'm sure you will correct me on what is the actual anime that we're looking at there. Okay, we were going to play this through. So I want to also listen to the audio and see what to keep. You said the blue cosplays are Genshin Impact. Oh, I've heard that word. Or I've heard of Genshin Impact. And maybe I've even watched it. I don't know. If it's on Netflix or something, maybe it popped through at some point. The one with the window behind them is called Fiorina, and the one facing towards the window is called New Villette. Okay. Wait, are those part of Genshin Impact, or are you saying these are two different shows? Or you're saying the character is called Fiorina, and then the other one is called New Villette, but they're both part of this Genshin Impact movie or TV show? Technically, it's not even anime, it's a game. Yo, you're just throwing too many things at me, man. You can't confuse me like that. Okay. But either way, cool photos, cool stuff. So I think in my product review, I'm going to use maybe even this footage, and I might just play it as is without any stabilization, without anything, just to show people like, okay, what does it look like when you have the footage as is? So I think, yeah, this is without any stabilization. So I think this will be a good example as I'm doing my voiceover to talk about like, okay, one of the features that I personally like a lot for the type of filming that I do is the IBIS 7.5 stops of IBIS, and given the fact that I do a lot of hand-holding shoots, the fact that I can trust the camera to be reliable enough to capture when I'm not stable is excellent. And obviously, given the fact that in this particular case, this is probably the worst example, or like the most extreme example of how shaky my footage probably will be, given the fact that I was filming this walking backwards at a pretty rapid walking pace. So if this is considered the worst example of like, you know, this, so let's look at this one as well. Yeah, obviously that was the worst one. Actually, this might be, let's just make sure it's not stabilized. Yeah, okay. Okay. But here was a bit extreme because I think I actually did trip over. Yeah. So here I did trip over that thing, but I didn't fall. And the camera stayed fairly steady. And then, of course, this is the actual hero shot that starts off in the opening hook of my video. So if it was good enough to use in the final thing, hopefully that's another nice... Oh, yeah, you know, another thing about the ZR that maybe some of the professionals wouldn't be a fan of is I don't know if it's related to the same thing. Again, I apologize, guys, because I'm going to keep showing how little I know. But there's this concept of open gate that I understand that this camera doesn't have. But then I think I understand that it could be a firmware update in the future. It seems like it is actually something that's possible from some brief videos that I watched. But like the ability for this camera, or the inability of this camera to work with anamorphic lenses. It seems like if you have anamorphic lenses, it doesn't necessarily play well with this camera. I could be wrong, because I learned about anamorphic lenses a week before the shoot. So what do I know? But yeah, so I guess for like the true filmmakers and stuff, maybe that could be some limitations. Maybe it is compatible. You just have to do some funky things to make it work. But I know there's something about it's like, oh, it's not open gate, nor and maybe because of that reason, or nor does it do like anamorphic stuff. So Troy, you said for video, do you always shoot at the same f-stop? I.e., are you more worried about light and keep it wide, or adjust based on scene like in photos? I don't know, actually. Okay, let me answer your first question. Do I always shoot at the same f-stop? I do not. I usually will adjust it depending on the situation, but I like to shoot wide as possible. Just given the lenses that I have, it's like if you have a lens that shoots 1.2, it's always nice to be able to shoot at like that level, especially with the nice bokeh and everything. However, I think as I'm becoming more mature as a photographer, videographer, and all that kind of stuff, I do feel like at times I lean too much sometimes with the fact that I might have like an f1.2 aperture. And if I shoot at f1.2, the chances of me having a photo or video where it's unusable or not as good because of the fact that I missed the focus, or one of the eyes is in focus but the other is not. There's moments where you might have a creative shot sometimes, but then is it a practical shot, and you end up losing a lot of that. So for that reason, I'm trying to be more comfortable actually just trying to shoot at like f2.8 and make f2.8 maybe like the baseline that I should always try to shoot at, generally speaking, let's say. And then with an f1.2 lens, now I have an understanding, which could be flawed, but my understanding is that most lenses usually perform at like, I think roughly 2 stops above whatever the widest aperture is, where in terms of like the sharpness and things like that. So I could be wrong, and I hate doing math while I'm doing all this kind of stuff. But yeah, so I figured with my f1.2, if I shoot at f2, perhaps it means it'll be performing at its best. And this is just based on a few videos I'd seen before, and so it could be flawed information. So yeah, now I'm trying a couple of those things. So I try to shoot at like maybe 2 stops above whatever the widest is. And then I also am trying to shoot at around f2.8 if there's a subject in the frame, where I just want to make sure that the whole face is decently focused. And if you're shooting at f1.2, I mean, chances are you got one eye focused, one not. Maybe the nose is focused for the most of the time, or I don't know. It just depends on your focus level and everything else. But am I worried about light? I usually will try to apply the ND filter first. So as far as settings go, in the moment, I will try to adjust the ND filter. I usually have a variable ND filter that I just twist. So I'll try to adjust that first before I play around with anything on the camera settings. Jeremy, you said anamorphic D-squeeze helps you see the full aspect ratio in the camera instead of the vertical compression due to how wide the anamorphic lenses are. So the screen shows the full view. Okay, so you're saying with a film camera or like a cinema camera that's got the anamorphic D-squeeze, it would mean that when you're filming in your view, what kind of view are we looking at? Are you saying it's not like a 16:9, but it would be like some more like square image or something? And then when it goes into post, it stretches it out? I have no idea. I really don't have any idea. I get the general understanding of anamorphic, which is like, one, it's like you got spherical lenses and you got anamorphic, and you'll notice a difference in terms of like how it plays with the lights, like in the bokehs, and like how it compresses the lights. But then also you get that wide angle aspect ratio. But that's as far as my knowledge kind of starts and ends. Let me see here. Troy, you said, agree on lens quality. I do similar for landscape. I stay at around f8 to 11 for sharpness and stack. Yeah, I remember way back in the day, just someone had randomly, just some YouTube videos were like, oh yeah, f8, that is the golden number for landscape. So I was like, okay, yes sir, whatever you say. And I just kept it at f8 and then never thought about it. Photo, you said, I highly doubt that the ZR will get open gate recording. It would cut into it too heavily into other products that they're looking to release. Yeah, I would imagine it's like a strategic reason not to release that if it's a firmware fix. The ZR is kind of testing the waters a bit, but it's very much still a Frankenstein camera. Yeah, like if I were Nikon, I would probably say like, yeah, we're not going to put all in the same way that maybe they could put red codec into the Z6 III and the Z9s and the other cameras. I don't know, maybe that's possible. I would assume maybe from a strategic perspective, they might say no, because yeah, we don't want to cannibalize, or even if we cannibalize now, we want to get people leaning more towards this camera here. Do the shift, jump over to this new cinema camera, get comfortable with it, and get excited for when we launch the next version, which is going to be $4,000 or whatever. So yeah, but what do I know? But yeah, I can imagine they won't, as much as I wish they do, but yeah. Troy, you said 1.2 is crazy shallow, but got to get your money's worth. Yeah, it's a little bit of that. It's like, man, if you've got a 1.2, why not use it? Especially for these kind of jungle environments. It is very, very, it is low light situations. So that 1.2 actually is a game changer for photography. But then you got to be extra careful with your focus. Oh, actually, that is another thing that I should put in my notes of things that I wish they would improve, like some minor fixes and stuff. But one thing is if they can introduce, shoot, what do you call it? In the other cameras, when I'm focusing, you'll see the focus peaking. Is it focus peaking? I wasn't able to see the actual focus peaking when I was filming, where like maybe it's in the settings that I was shooting with, maybe it can't do it in RAW, but like when I was filming, I wouldn't actually be able to see like the red pixels to show me like, oh, this is where the focus point is. If they can introduce focus peaking and false color into the screen, I'll just say false color. Because I know I've never used false color, but every video I was watching from a professional filmmaker prior to this shoot was talking about like, oh, you should always look at your false colors to make sure your shot is shot properly and there's nothing overexposed or underexposed. And if you're filming skin tone, it should be like gray or like whatever color is supposed to be what it is. So it'd be nice if I could actually, if they could build that in, that would be nice, just to know that I can follow along with the instructions of actual professionals, so then I can keep learning. Because then, yeah, this will stunt my development, let's say, of trying to be a filmmaker if I can't actually access these things that people talk about. And then the focus peaking, now with the 4-inch screen, it's like not, you can do a decent job of focusing because obviously you have a bigger screen to like double check, but that focus peaking, or like at least having that ability to see slightly better of like where is the focus line somewhere, yeah, that would be really good. Because I did miss focus a few times because I was manually adjusting the focus ring and I missed the mark. So Jeremy said essentially D-squeeze has to be stretched back to its full ratio in post, so you have to know the factor of the lens, like a 1.5 or 2.0 for example. Okay, I mean, I'm kind of understanding you, but I'm not, so we'll leave it at that. But that, you know what, I really want to start doing like anamorphic shoots, because it seems like that's the type of shoots where like the quality, yeah, it just looks very film-like, you know what I mean? So it'd be fun if I can have a project and I can do my first project where I shoot everything with like anamorphic lenses. Yeah, and again, in the same way that this camera can trick me into feeling professional, doing a project with anamorphic blah 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 will just keep making me feel much more experienced or professional. So that's all part of the game. Photo, you said anamorphic is 3:2 aspect ratio, meaning you're using the entire sensor, which is what open gate recording is needed for. I see. When using anamorphic, you are getting a much wider view squished into the sensor, so depending on how much, the raw footage will look distorted. 1.2 aperture is tough sometimes for video because focus is difficult. Yeah. So even here, when I was shooting at, I think about like f2 with the 85 1.2 lens that I was using, I was mostly shooting at f2. Same thing here with the 35mm lens, I was shooting at around f2.0. And in that area, it did a pretty good job. Like, honestly, like, I was really happy with the results. It seems like most of the face is in focus. When the eyes are in focus, it's very, very crisp and sharp and everything. So yeah, I think if I were to do this over again, I probably would leave it as is. The f2 was pretty good. I might try f2.8 if I was feeling a little frisky, but given how low light the situation is, I think f2 was a good compromise. So even like, yeah, moments, and it was like sharp enough that I ended up taking some screen grabs to use for like thumbnails and stuff. Yeah, here's a good one, obviously. Oh, Troy, good job. You gambled it all and you won it. You got to put yourself out there. L, you said, help. I can't scroll up or down in the cut section to see my layers. Okay, L, I'm going to be honest with you. I never use this cut panel. So I probably won't be of any use. You said you can't scroll up or down in the cut section to see my layers. Interesting. I see what you're saying. Maybe there's like a timeline options. Edit using all channels. Display clip names. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so L, I literally, if you figured it out, that's good. Because I don't ever use this cut tab. So I've gone this far without ever using it. So the question for me is like, do I ever want to use it then? If I've survived this long. So until someone tells me exactly why I need to use this cut tab, I generally just use this editing tab. And if I need to cut something, I type the letter B, which then will switch over to the blade. And then I can just click anywhere to cut. Or yeah, you just kind of grab the end of the thing and you just trim it. That's worked for what I need to do, but I don't know. So yeah, this one, okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted, but we're going to grab both of these guys. We'll put it into our project timeline. So this will all be on the stabilization topic. And we probably won't use all of it just because it's too long. But just to show a few moments here, be like, hey, here's proof that this camera, you don't need a gimbal. You can shoot and be comfortable knowing you're going to get some epic shots. And then this one, let me just bring this over to our vertical timeline. Let me delete all this. So yeah, it was kind of a cool moment, because even I could tell with the doctor, he was really excited, because I mentioned before, but this is the closest he's ever gotten with this baby chimp. So, because usually this chimp was so scared of everyone, so like they would, it would run away immediately. But then on this day when we were shooting, it was curious enough, it was hungry enough, and then eventually was just eating out of his hand. So he was really excited, I could tell. So yeah. Okay, let's test this one out. Troy says elbow cough and laughing. Figured out. Photo says Twitch stream dropped and resumed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Twitch, can you hear me? Sad face. Yeah, I see. Oh, wait, no, hold on. L, you said I made it. It's also small enough to upload on Discord. Hells yeah. Oh yeah, send it over. Fody said, yes, we can. I told you the stream resumed. Oh, gotcha. But on my side, it's like, on my restream, it's still showing empty. Or it's like, it looks like it's struggling, so I can't tell. But you need to disable shield mode. What the hell is shield mode? Has activated shield mode and enabled settings to protect and restrict chat. Okay, so if I turn this off. Okay, so I've just disabled slow mode for this room. Okay, I think these are some of the new features because I did get that the bot up and running thanks to low base. So I think I turned it off. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully the stream is fully functional. But thank you guys. Thank you, Photo, for letting me know. We can hear you, but we are in slow mode and we are back and it's up on Discord. Okay, thank you. I think I fixed the shield thing and hopefully everything else is okay. And then let's check out this video. L thing, can I watch this on stream or is there any... And is there any audio in here that I can't show? Go ahead. Okay. Oh, it's so annoying. I have to like download the freaking file. Yo, I like those sounds, by the way. Nice, man. And this is only less than 15 seconds, right? It's kind of cool seeing the actual shutter do its thing, I gotta say. Well done. I'm glad you just did it. You just did it. And thank you, Elaine Fatima. Thank you very much for subscribing on YouTube. Yes, and thank you. There was actually a bunch of people who subscribed after my stream ended. So I'm curious. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't believe these are people who are subscribing just in general, because I think I would get the subscriptions more often on YouTube. So I believe these are people who subscribed after watching maybe the VOD of the live stream. I have no idea. But either way, thank you guys. I did see a number of you guys joined on the YouTube side. So I appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, it's been really fun, guys. I think the past few days, I think this this documentary film that I made, it's starting to pick up traction in the algorithm on YouTube. So yeah, and I love seeing all the comments. Everyone's overly positive. No one's been a troll as of yet. So we're happy with it. But good job, Elle. That's really awesome. I'm glad you actually just did it. And you did it pretty quickly, so... Elle, you said, I forgot the megapixel count on the 90D SAG. And I closed the project and don't have the project file since I'm editing off the SD card. Listen, just forget about it. You just do it. You just send it out, right? Or you can use like CapCut or like a simpler video editing and just overlay the text when you need to somewhere. What did we say? Perfection is the enemy of progress? This camera can be used for ASMR. That's what I think. Because you literally can hear this chimp munching away. Let's wait for it. Wait for it.
It's for your mom.
Ah, of course I moved away then. Okay, I think it's okay. Let's keep looking through maybe this footage. Let's pump up the audio a little bit. Just post it, we ball. Yes.
Come. Really? Come. Oh, sorry. Really?
So even here, we're shooting directly into like the sky, the sunlight, and everything. Um, I yeah, maybe I'm being biased. I'm not sure, but I still feel like the way that you can see right up until I don't know. I'm assuming this is like pure white, or this might be it's as close to pure white as you can imagine. So, but either way, as we're approaching that pure white area, I feel like the way, I guess this is maybe where you talk about the roll off or whatever, but I just feel like it has such a nice blending in that dynamic range where like everything that's leading up to it feels soft, feels clean, leading up to where it gets pure white. So I don't know what, without knowing all the technical terms or why, it just feels like even when we end up in a situation where it's overexposed, it still feels usable. It still feels like something that's very nice and soft, and yeah. But that could just be some bias here. I don't know. Nice video, L thing. Props to a fellow team Canon. Yes. See, I need to track all you Canon users. Okay. Yeah, and Sony and everything else. Nikon. One thing I need to get better at is just knowing when to focus on which subject. I think at times, especially when you have multiple subjects, I would in the moment you just not necessarily panic, but you have to make a decision like, oh, do I keep focus on Billy over here on the right, or when do I focus on the baby? And when action's happening quickly, it's like, who do I just try to keep focus on? So sometimes I keep focus on the right subject, sometimes I don't. Um, so I'm assuming it just comes with practice, but I think that's one area. So like here, it makes sense obviously here because it's focused as he's receiving the food. And then it would be a little bit too weird to keep jumping between them so quickly because you don't know what's about to happen. But here, obviously, I wasn't focusing on Billy for a few of those attempts. And then here, I should have jumped focus over to the baby. All right, it's making the face. Yeah, so I missed my chance there. So I think it's just going to come down to like more practice with these kind of moments. Also getting comfortable, I guess, with the camera and the lenses. So by this day, I think this is the last day of the shoot, I finally was getting more comfortable with the camera, of like adjusting, having like a fast autofocus shortcut on the lens, and then doing like a slower focus on the shutter button. But then maybe I should get comfortable using the touch screen. So like maybe I should, I don't know. There's like so many different ways that I need to understand to do filmmaking. Yeah. Because I think some people, they don't even do autofocus, right? It's just always going to be a manual focus ring concept. Yeah, and the colors, everything just looks so sharp. I'm assuming this was with the 35 millimeter lens. Um, yeah. And here I was just so distracted. I was just focusing. I was trying to get a shot like we see here. I wanted to get the baby chimp's face framed inside of within the armpit. So I ended up getting the shot, which I was hoping for. But then the funny thing is, now that I'm looking at this footage, I don't even know if it registered at the time that Billy was reaching into the doctor's front pocket for food. Like, yeah. Like if I had registered, I assume I would have wanted to keep this in focus just because it's more interesting to see how Billy's interacting with the doctor. But I guess I don't know. Maybe I was just so laser focused. I was just trying to get that shot of the baby chimp inside here. Hello, Angel. What a name. Angel Bernice. Thank you very much for subscribing on the YouTube. Yes. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Yes. I think YouTube has we've been doing decent numbers on the YouTube side in the past few days. So thank you guys for your support. And hopefully that's a good sign of things to come if we are back to being consistent streaming and all that. Yeah. Right now, you guys are just watching me. I'm just kind of watching through some of the clips that I have to see if something strikes me as like, okay, this feels like a moment I absolutely need to include. A lot of these are potentials for sure. Like, I don't see a reason why not. If I have the time in the product review video to include this, I don't see why not. But before we get into that level, I'm just trying to look for the clear shots where I'm like, yo, these are definitely necessary. Like, I need to include this in the product review, and we'll drag that into the timeline. These ones are all good stuff, but not necessarily the ones that like I know has to make it. So yeah, that's why we're not taking any actions with them so far. But I do love this because especially on this day, it's we were kind of blocked from any wind, so you're not hearing anything crazy happening in the sound. So like the sounds sound really good. The sound sounds really good. So I'm just letting the ambient sound play out to see. And yeah, all of this, by the way, is without any color grading. It's literally just from the correction into the right color space. So to me personally, I'm really happy with that. Like the less work I have to do in terms of even trying to put a creative stamp on the shots, the better. Like the more I could just feel like, hey, look, I filmed it, and then right from the beginning, the shot without having to do anything looks fantastic. That's obviously it's a good feeling, and then it saves time in the long run when it comes to like my workflows and stuff. So yeah, the fact that it looks like this right now, just from that conversion, is like I'm super happy about that. And then this is one of those shots I mentioned where like I just didn't get the focus down properly. Like we eventually got it here where I wanted it, so it got so close that I had to step back, so it's a bit shaky here.
Stay there.
And then here I am just crawling backwards to get a bit more space with the shot. So I think I was shooting, let's call it, this might be the, was this the 85 maybe? But yeah, so I kept stepping back, and then I was able to get both in frame, but I didn't get the shot that I was hoping for because I missed my manual focus attempt. Because here, obviously, Chimp is focused. And then when I tried to bring the focus over to him, I overshot it. So then the focus ended up extending just behind the doctor. And then I tried it again here. And then I wanted it. So at this attempt, I was like, okay, I'm a bit more comfortable. Let me do it again. Had the Chimp in focus. Chimp looks over to the doctor. So I was like, that's a perfect time to start now, pulling the focus over to him. But then by the time it was too late. And then the Chimp stood up and I was like, oh shit, I missed it. If I had done it properly, I think I would have tried to extend that into my short film a bit longer. Because it's a nice moment where you can linger on the shot as you see the Chimp in focus, look over at the doctor, focus pull goes smoothly over to the doctor, doctor's looking at the Chimp. It conveys a lot of nice emotions there, but I effed it up, okay? It is what it is. We can't be perfect. Let's keep looking though. Maybe one of these shots could be interesting. Because we get a nice, like, I don't know what we call it. Like, yeah, over the shoulder shots. I believe that's the proper terminology. So I was trying to do a few of these over the shoulder shots from both perspectives. So one of the doctor here, and then one of the Chimp. So we did end up applying this into the documentary. So I think there's a moment where you hear Doctor's Rukundo saying like, Billy is a gentle soul. And as he's saying that, I was showing a over the shoulder shot of Billy taking food directly from his hand. Probably this shot, actually. Let's see. Yeah. So one of these moments, it might have been a separate clip or later on. But yeah, I have a shot that's more from over the shoulder looking at the chimp. And then I flip directly after that, I believe, to the shot of the doctor from the same scene from the other side. So hopefully that continuity feels good in the documentary, or it made sense. Yeah, this shot. So this is the shot I used in slow motion. And then I switched over to a shot of Dr. Rakundo from the other side. But yeah. Low Base is back with lunch. Low Base, could you explain to me what is that shield mode that comes with the bot? So my Twitch, essentially my Twitch channel disconnected for a moment. And when it disconnected, it turned on some kind of shield mode. So then Photo suggested I need to turn it off because it like did something where, yeah, I don't know. But you've ordered your lunch. It's not here. Oh my God, guys, let me talk about how much of, how unhealthy I can be. Okay. I think yesterday was it brought up yesterday in the chat? I think it was. I discovered that Chipotle, it might have been a few days ago actually. I discovered that Chipotle is now in Dubai, and I've never been more happy. Okay, that's a little bit, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but I was very, very happy to hear that. Last night after the stream, I had my dinner, my normal dinner that I have, like leftovers of a bunch of stuff, pretty full. But then the thought finally snapped into my mind. I was like, yo, do you think Chipotle delivers on like the delivery app? And I checked, and lo and behold, there is a Chipotle that delivers to my address. So even though I just finished eating, I decided, you know what? My loyalties, I know where they lie, and it lies with Chipotle. So I decided I'm going to order a massive steak burrito, double wrapped tortilla with everything inside of it, fajitas, the sour cream, cheese. I didn't do guac, but I did almost everything else. White rice. And so I had a double dinner, and that burrito's massive. And what did I have this morning or afternoon for breakfast? For like brunch, I had another Chipotle burrito. So that's how happy I've been at the fact that Chipotle is finally in the Middle East. And yeah, but I probably am destroying my body as we speak. When you go offline, the bot locks down your chat. And when you come back, it unlocks it. If there's an issue, it probably stems from you also having Seribot. You have two bots that do the same thing. Oh, okay. Does that mean I need to like somehow disconnect Seribot? They both ban spam bots and lock your chat when stream goes offline, and they're likely interfering with each other. This was an issue I had in development. I would pick one and stick with it. Okay. Either works. Gotcha. Thank you very much though. I appreciate it. Okay, so I might use, let's go ahead and highlight all of these guys, because this was at least a film technique that I believe is an actual technique, right? So like, I think if I show that in my behind the scenes of the product review, one, I hope that means my filmmaking, you know, chops could be slightly there, or at least professional filmmakers who watch this will be like, okay, you know, he's not bad. He understands a little bit of the techniques. Like, oh, he's doing that over the shoulder shot technique, right? Or maybe by adding it, they're going to be like, yo, he did such a terrible job with it. But that's fine. Either way, it's a win because I'm not touting myself as a professional, but at least I'm trying to do these like professional shots. So hopefully in the product review, you'll see a few behind the scenes, or you'll see some of the B-roll of the different techniques, I guess. So maybe a little bit of side panning shots, like an orbiting shot, these kind of like focus pulls. That's a cool shot. It could have been a nice thumbnail in some regards, but yeah. Either works. For now, do exclamation mark anti-spam off. Okay. Wait, did you just turn it off for me? Oh, I guess you have like permissions and stuff, right? Here. So I guess maybe this is what they would call like the micro jitter. But this is like, to be fair, this is when I was just literally trying to set myself up. So those things I never really, I kind of like disregard it when it comes to like the quality of the stabilization. because oftentimes when you do see like crazy shakes, that's most likely just because instead of like turning off the recording, I just let the recording roll while I reposition myself for a proper shot. So then here, then I think it's a little bit more normal. And then here, because I wasn't using a zoom lens, basically you're stuck with what you get. And it's obviously very hard to like get anything in focus at that close range. Okay, we're gonna copy this over. Oh wait, do I need to put it somewhere else? Okay, I need to put this one over here. So these are all the shots that we might use for like showing the stabilization of the camera. These are just different, I guess, techniques. Okay, let's keep looking. This ended up being a nice, like, sentimental shot. So
Making sure I don't have the
let me see if
just
that.
in case.
So this chimp, I forget the name of this chimp, but this one got a little bit injured from a fight that it had with some of the other chimps. So then I actually got to have a nice moment where the vet was actually doing a quick little inspection.
Yeah, you discovered some nuts.
Oh, the little ones nearby. I think I
Okay, maybe. Okay, these are just normal shots. Oh, okay, nice. We're gonna get some crazy loud noise here. So I apologize if it blows out your eardrums. Let me drop down the volume as much as possible. But again, the cool thing is, if you look at that wave, yeah, the waveform, is that what you call it? Wait, now I'm confused because you got waveform for coloring. But then what do you call this? The audio. Do you not call this, okay, I'm getting confused now. Anyways, if you look at the little waves here, okay? We'll call it a waveform until someone corrects me. You would see that most likely if I'd shot this without this 32-bit float, once it gets here, it's clearly going to clip. Like it's already like way beyond, you know, blasting through the microphone. But thankfully, because of this 32-bit float, and you can be obviously much more flex or whatever, like fine-tuned about it in terms of keeping the other things louder and then dropping this part down. We don't care. I just want to test this out. So then let's just check this out. Again, in those moments, it's like, holy shit, what do I keep focus on? And so, yeah, here, it probably is smarter to not be so wide with your aperture. But also, I was just like, okay, you know what? I don't have the right lens for this anyways. Mainly, let me just make sure the audio, we want to keep it rolling to keep the audio. But, yeah, very, very insane moment for sure. But like I said, you have these moments happening, and it's like, you remember that these are wild animals. But the fear factor just doesn't click in. When you're holding the camera, there's literally no mental space for you to get afraid. You're literally just focusing on, like, you know, do I have the shot? Do I have the settings properly? Blah, blah, blah. Hello, Ivy. Low base, you said I have all the power. What's up, Ivy XP? Ivy, did you need a hand accepting your R team invite? Yeah, let me know. Okay, gotcha. But yes, welcome, Ivy. We're on day 53. And so we're continuing to kind of review some of these footages, kind of walk through the quality of the camera, see where it doesn't work, where it does. Thankfully, we're more on the what works as opposed to doesn't. But yeah, we're getting much closer to getting the product review finished. So I think at this point, I've completed the whole script for the product review. So now I'm just trying to start highlighting some of the footages to potentially use. And this one I might end up using because of the audio. The only problem is my focus game was not on point during this shot. So a lot of it isn't nicely in focus, but the audio is definitely crazy. So let me go and maybe drag this one over just in case. So this one I'll bring into our project timeline, into our audio section here. Yeah, this chimp was apparently getting bullied. I forget what happened. I forget the story, but this one has been getting, it was getting bullied for like the past 2 days, I think, that since I was there. So that's how it also injured his hand. And it looks like someone still has a grudge against him. And then, who stepped in? Was that Billy? Let me see. Do I see 2 thumbs? I see 2 thumbs. So I don't know which chimp this one is, but this one came in to be like, yo, back off a bit, you know? Okay, and then let me just custom control this guy real quick. Let's bring the audio back to normal. Oh, let's listen to it real quick. Let's actually lift it up more. Oh shit, did not mean to do that. What? I just want to delete this freak of nature. How do I... Okay, that's annoying. I don't know how to delete this manual. Okay, whatever. It's so amazing to me. Like, one of the other working titles that I had for this documentary, but I didn't go with it because I thought maybe that it was too cliche, or I thought not cliche, it might already be used or something. I was thinking like another title could be something called like Our Closest Relatives, because like that is the chimps, right? The chimps are supposedly or apparently our closest relatives, shares like 90, I think they said 98.7% of our DNA is shared with the chimps. So I thought that could be a nice title for a documentary as well about the chimpanzees, Our Closest Relatives. I ended up going with Island of Second Chances, but yeah, anyways, these are just like the brainstorming process. But it is so amazing to me to watch these chimps because, like, you know, 3 days was not enough. Like, you could spend so much time here, and I feel like it would just be so fascinating to like research, to learn, see their behaviors, because they are so human-like in so many ways, right? The communities that they have, yeah, even like the way they have grudges or they have these memories about each other. Like there's a social hierarchy, and yeah, like they're obviously very emotional, like humans. But then even just to see like crazy shit going on, that someone's been holding a grudge on this one. You see one come in to like protect a little bit, and then seeing how he's behaving, and like I don't actually know if it's a boy or girl, but this one now it's like it's literally looks like it's pouting or in the verge of tears and stuff, and like looking to the doctor for comfort and I don't know. Everything about it is like it's fascinating, and like if I could film a lot more of this, I'd be glad to do that. Low base, you say I'm 87.6% Twinkie. Is that a derogatory term, or are you talking like Twinkie, like the actual non-destructible food? In which case, you're basically saying you can survive the apocalypse. So good on you. Oh yeah, and actually, this ended up being my thumbnail for the video. Or one of these particular stills, I ended up making it the thumbnail.
Let me see your foot.
And again, just as is, the shot, the colors look amazing. I was trying to go with this like foreground, you know, kind of a little bit hazy blur from the tall grass. So I kind of wanted that because I wanted, so when I was filming this moment, I wanted something where it feels like there's an intimate moment. Like obviously there's like a bond between the doctor and this chimp. And so, but like the environment that they're in out in nature, and then I didn't want the shot to feel like I'm intrusive in the sense of like, you know, I'm just directly shooting it. I kind of, sorry, I'm not using the right words here, but I wanted the shot to look like I'm shooting from afar and somewhat secretively, or as if I'm not there. They're not aware I'm there. And it's a shot where I'm seeing the two of them bonding without the presence of anyone else. So I wanted this kind of like tall grass obscuring a little bit of the shot, so it feels more like the camera's far away, hidden, that kind of thing.
This was hand raised, but
Easy, that was the name.
a number of fractures, so even limps. But he's a very nice guy. He likes, well, he was literally hand raised for the first like 3-4 years of his life because of the continuous injury.
Yeah, colors, everything. So again, I apologize. I forget who had mentioned that they really like the greens on the Nikon, like the color science, I guess. But I completely agree as well. Like it's amazing to see the different shades of greens that have been applied here, and they all look very, very fantastic. I think generally speaking, in my shots, if anything, it tended to lean more on the warm side. Or there's a few of these shots where I ended up having to adjust it, and I made it more cool. But that's like a personal choice, obviously. And it could have also been that I was playing around with the white balance throughout the shoots. So I was testing different things. So sometimes I had it set to like whatever, like 5600 Kelvin. And then other times I was testing out like the cloudy mode because like, you know, it just rained or there was a lot of clouds. Oh, okay, let's try out the cloudy mode. But anyways, yeah. So these shots are nice. BC says, reading low bass guys say he's 80% Twinkie and not knowing the context. It's hilarious. Oh, yeah, because BC... Wait, yeah, you don't have the audio. Yeah. Perks of no audio mode. So here... Okay, let's check this out. So here's an example where as I shot it, the doctor's voice is super, super quiet. And so then if I had to do the opposite, so in the case of usually I have to drop the mic when the chimps are screeching. In this case, what if I lift the audio so that it's a bit more normal? BC, you asked, did you end and restart? No, I had an issue on Twitch where it disconnected briefly. So annoying. Don't know how to fix for those moments. But we back and we live and we strong. What is it? Together strong. What is that line from Planet of the Apes? Planet of the Apes together strong. Apes together strong. Okay, but we back and we live because apes together strong. There we go. Spent too much time trying to be comedic, so the moment's passed.
Because they groom each other and themselves quite a lot. And they pick at every small thing, and that's what causes the problem with the implants. While they're grooming each other, they'll come across the implant in the skin and they'll keep scratching at the area until they get it out.
So one thing, I wasn't able to test this, but technically, oh, BC says, so is this one of the chimp handlers in the video? This is the main man, the Dr. Joshua Rokundo. He's the primary, he's the main voice and interviewee throughout the documentary. He's the executive director and head veterinarian. No. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So this camera has something called the Ozo audio. It's like some kind of Nokia technology, something or other. And so, OVO? I don't remember. Anyways, so it's touting this 32-bit flow audio, and it also has a bunch of microphone ports, or I don't know what you'd say. Like if you look at the camera model, you'll see that there's like several different areas where there's microphones built in. And so essentially you can do like this omnidirectional audio capture. And I don't think it's available in the RAW mode, but if you're shooting in like H.265 and stuff, you have a bit more options where you could choose like literally the direction of audio that you want to capture. So you can be like, I want to capture the front-facing audio, or I want the I want the omnidirectional whatever, or you want things more from the backside. I don't know. There are like a few things where you can actually select which of those microphones are the ones that you want to use in your shot. But in the red RAW mode, I don't think that was a choice.
I'm done. I don't have any other opinions. I'm going to lose interest since I have nothing else.
So then here I was, if you could see the behind the scenes, I was basically doing like a crab walk. Yeah, so I was doing a weird like Asian squat, as we say, and then I was just slowly trying to do a little side panning shot while keeping the focus or the subjects. So I thought maybe, just in case, I needed a shot with a bit of motion, and then if I can smooth this out with the stabilization, I can get something that looks more like something in motion. I think in the documentary, I never ended up using any of that, but look, the thought, it was more just in case. It's about to get loud. Okay. All right, so we'll keep these two as potentials. I don't know where to put them though, so we're just going to put that into the miscellaneous bucket. Man, I bet like people who are actual pros in this world, what like video editing, all that kind of stuff, they're looking at me at how slow I am at all of this, and they're probably just like, oh, this guy. I'll be excited the day I get a video editor. If you guys know anyone who's a good editor and at a reasonable price. But I am very picky. Like there's a certain style, I guess, for how I shoot. And yeah, but I just need a good editor that I can trust to give all of my content to, and then they can help me push out videos quickly. Because unfortunately, you guys are watching me. You've seen on all my streams, this is the mode in which I work, and it's only one speed. So I call it slow and methodical, but others would just say slow. Okay, so here's another good example of that, but I actually don't know. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is how I shot it, so you can see it's slightly overexposed, but I have a feeling this might have also still been shot with ISO 800, which is still good. Obviously, I'm happy if that's the case, because then it means you didn't have to rely on the 6400 to get like a nice shot with the right waveform. But let me go to the media pool. This is DSC 1689. So let's hop back over to here, 1689. This one. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so this, finally, we have a good example here. This was shot at the second base ISO of 6400. I was shooting at 85 millimeter aperture 2. And any other interesting information here? I had the white balance as cloudy. Okay. All right, regardless, this is our first example that I've been able to actually pinpoint. Some of the others might be as well. I just didn't actually research, or I didn't double check into this. So this is an example of shooting at a 6400 ISO. So let me go ahead and copy this over. And that means I should put it towards the beginning, because one of our first feature sections is on the red raw. And as part of that, I have a minor little conversation where I talk about the two ISOs that you shoot in. So we finally have an example where I shot this at 60. And listen, this is like basic knowledge for actual professionals and stuff, not for me though. And this is what I was saying. I had such this, I had a irrational fear about shooting at 6400 ISO, because coming from like my photography background, like the thought of shooting at 6400 ISO, I was like, yo, that sounds like, what the hell? Like, you know, that's a bad number to shoot a photo in. So then you just assume that the same logic applies for video, which is like clearly mistaken. But hold on, let's see. BC says, thanks for typing that in the chat. LOL, Jeremy said you're a slow editor as well. But the problem is I'm slow at everything. So like, yeah, at some point I'm kind of like embracing the fact that I'm slow, but I say I'm slow and methodical. So I'm like the tortoise in that sense. And so we ultimately end up in the right place, and we do it. I am always proud of whatever I work on, but the problem is I need to do it faster. So the only way I can get faster is just through repetition, or if I can start outsourcing. And that's where it's like I need to like start outsourcing some of these things if I'm going to do this professionally. I just can't be a one-man show all the time. If I'm dedicated to actually doing a professional job at like YouTube, at the workshops, everything that I'm trying to do, then I need to build a team around me. But yeah, it's just tough to find people. Anyways, Photo is laughing at Streamlabs. No, laughing at BC for losing. Oh wait, did Streamlabs also lose? Anyways, yo, congrats, low base. Damn, you're getting some PPs. Everyone's chasing after the PPs in my chat. Quits job, yeah. Jeremy said, I'm editing an event right now, watching you stream on my second computer. Hells yeah. Yo, thank you very much for doing that. Hopefully I'm entertaining enough for you, but what kind of you're editing an event? Nice, nice. Also, I was hoping to ask if you used a third-party lens on the ZR. No, I have not. You know what, I've never used a third-party lens on any of the Nikon cameras, I don't think. Yeah. But for what it's worth, I did read and hear that what's the term called? The flange? F-L-A-N-G? F-L-A-N-G. Let's see if the chat bot or the bot thinks I'm speaking a different language here. But I heard that the way that the sensor, the camera's built and everything, like the adapter is super, super thin, or it allows for the adapter to work effectively with the Sony lenses and I don't know what other lenses out there. So it seems like for those people who use different types of lenses and they want to try it out on the ZR, it seems like it works pretty well, but I wouldn't be able to say for certain. Photo, you said, you know, if you really want to get faster, you can learn my workflow and then you'd feel fast as boy. Yeah, what is your workflow? The thing is, I don't think I can learn to be fast. Honestly, I don't think it's like, it's almost like it almost feels like it's a personality trait. And there are some things you just can't change about yourself, nor should you necessarily. And I think I just am someone who, when I say slow, it doesn't mean like I'm slow at everything, but it just means like my processing and my, like where I feel meditatively centered, let's say, I don't know, or like just balanced, it tends to be in a pace where things are methodical. It could be fast and methodical, yes, but like especially in a creative space, I oftentimes like I appreciate it when it's like much slowed down and like I don't know. Yeah, so the only way I get faster is doing the slow methodical process enough times that it becomes muscle memory, and it's not too much of the creative pace now. It's more of just the repetition pace. Okay, so I'm just gonna guess that all of these guys might be at ISO. What was this one? 1688. Why is this going backwards? Okay, so this one is also 6400 ISO, but not my best shot, just because the subject's so far away. But actually, maybe this is useful to show, because there's a bit of shake, because clearly I was walking close to them. Okay, let's check this one out. And let's turn up the audio just a bit on this one. So same thing, like technically, I was shooting some of these in the 6400. So like I said, I was doing a bit of stress testing throughout the shoot. But since this was the very last day of the shoot, I was a little bit more comfortable exploring the proper way to shoot, let's say. So I was like actually trying a little bit more at times to get the waveform to be properly set up the way all the experts say. Now that I knew I got all the key shots out of the way. So then I was like in the more like, let's just try things out now. So this one I did shoot at the 6400 ISO. The waveform was slightly more in the middle section compared to like most of my other shots. It could have been higher technically, but yeah. And so then from my view assist, this is basically what I was seeing, where I was like, oh, it is a little bit overexposed. And so we were saying, F it, let's see if it actually looks nice. So in my case, I should be able to drop that down. And we'll just do that for now, but let's just check this out. Now we got a little bit of shake as I'm walking forward. So again, this could be a good example of the IBIS stabilization as well. And then we could do a side-by-side comparison of like the normal shot, and then maybe once I apply a bit of stabilization. Check the Discord photo channel and you'll see the amount of layers I put into a single image. Okay, let's check that out. And what's up, Espionage? Hope all is going well. Yes, all is always going well. Thank you for being here. Even better now that you are here, sir. Espionage number 3. Espionage 3, by the way, what does that mean? Does that mean there is a 2 and a 1 out there somewhere? And are you guys in a mortal combat for the rest of time? And why are you number 3? Is there a 4? Okay, so I'm going to guess this is also shot in ISO 6400 for what it's worth. So let's see, this one is 1687. 6400 ISO, same thing, everything else. Okay, so these are some good shots I can use. And it's also kind of a cool shot, you know? How often do you get to see some dude just chilling with a couple chimps? And also it's an interesting framing because you got the baby chimp in the background there, just to add a little bit of a interesting note. So, okay, we're going to take both of these guys. We'll add it into the mix. Whoops. Okay. Lil Bay says it's a secret. You know the secret of espionage, number 3. Let's check out Photo Elite's workflow here. So you're saying for this photo that you took, let me put it into the big screen here. Okay, so you're saying this shot right here required a bit of work, it seems. Let's see here. And do you work in Photoshop then? Am I seeing that correctly? Okay, yeah. So you had, Jesus, some smoothing, dodging and burning, some more dodging and burning. Okay, so wow, okay, Photoshop is, I would love to learn it, but I know I'm never going to, just because it's just not, it doesn't wire to my brain properly. So I'll just keep using Lightroom. But I do like how I'm seeing this. So the fact that you can kind of mask in like different things like texture and just work with the textures, that's interesting. Color lookups. Wow. Yeah, that's a bit intense. Lips, curves, yeah. Way more intense than I would have imagined. But the final result is fantastic. So clearly you're doing things the right way. Oh yeah, I am doing a photo shoot I'm doing a photo shoot in a few days from now. It's for someone I know, super cool person, and like they've started their own clothing company, like a clothing brand for their line of anyways, like a sports kind of clothing brand. So I will be their photographer. So they've rented out a studio, so I'll be there for a few hours, and they got some models coming in, and I'll basically do just, I guess, like standard photos of the models in the clothings, right? Like obviously their clothes. But yeah, this is the first time I'm ever doing like this proper photo shoot for like a clothing product. So Photo Elite or anyone else in the chat, if you guys have recommendations on like things that I should keep in mind, I'd be happy to hear them. So they like the studio has their own like flash equipment and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I need to just like make sure to, I have another shoot coming up tomorrow, which I mentioned. So I need to prep for that one first, but I need to do a bit more research to just mentally prepare myself for this shoot. I just want to be able to show up there and like immediately start making sure I go through my shot list of everything. And then I'm also trying to think like what lenses make the most sense to use for the shoot. I have my 85 millimeter. I'm assuming my 85 and my 51.2 will be the ones I can use the most. I don't necessarily think they need like a wide angle, because this is like, in some ways it's supposed to be like traditional shoots or like traditional shots for like a commercial, I don't know what you say, like for a clothing brand, right? I can't go too crazy with it. So that in some ways that's good, because then I have some parameters to work with. But yeah, it'll be my first time doing this, so I just want to make sure I do it properly. But Studio 10. Oh wait, hold on one second. I missed. This is Photoshop. Says Photo Elite. Yeah, I mean it's amazing. So good on you, man. This is like fantastic stuff. Maybe if I have time on, because I don't know. I guess these photos they don't need it right away. So maybe I can go through some of the shots after I'm done with the photo shoot. And if you guys have suggestions afterwards, we can do a bit of editing on that. But yeah, thanks for sharing that. Espionage, the only reason why I added the 3 is because back in the day when I was maybe 15 or 16, I needed to make an AOL chat. Hells yeah, you're one of us. Okay, are you does that mean you're a millennial? I am in the millennial class. I do remember the AOL days, and AIM, chat name, and most people were adding numbers to distinguish their names. I chose a 3 because espionage starts with an E, and I figured why not a mirrored E with a 3. That was almost 30 years ago. Yeah, I was going to say, normally I would almost imagine you would use the 3 to replace the E, right? Although I don't know do people usually say the 3 is the E? I know people will replace like the L with the 1, or like the typical 4 for an A, or all that, or 5 for an S. Yeah, you should have been espionage, but it would have been E5. No, actually no, you did it the right way. Don't listen to me. Studio 10, congrats for your documentary. It looks amazing. Well, thank you very much, Studio 10. Thank you for saying that. Thanks for being in the chat. I don't believe I've seen your name before, so if this is your first time on this live stream, I do appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for enjoying that documentary. It was a labor of love. It was crazy, though. So basically, I filmed it in 3 days. We had 3 days to shoot everything. And then I basically had about 5 days, or like less than a week, to actually put the film together. So it was like nonstop. But I oftentimes work better under pressure, it seems. So thankfully it worked out, and I'm very, very happy with the final result. Photo, you asked, is it e-commerce or branding? It's for e-commerce, but sorry, the reason I'm hesitating because I'm so new to that. I don't actually know what you mean by if it's for branding, as in like, I'm assuming they're going to use it for their website. So that's the main thing, right? So like building a product catalog is my assumption, to like be able to show on their website all the different clothes that they have on different subjects, male, female, close-up shot of the fabric, wide angle, or not wide angle, but like a shot of like a waist up, let's say, or if it's pants, showing the pants and all that kind of stuff. So I'm assuming it's like a standard product catalog e-commerce shot or photo shoot. Espionage, funny you mentioned fashion photography. I'm currently in New York City during Fashion Week and have been surrounded by a lot of fashion photographers. Even went to a runway show, more photographers than attendees. Jesus. Yeah, can you imagine if you're a photographer and a model? Could you like end up having a selfie stick and you're like taking your own shots as you're walking? So e-commerce, says Photo Elite, neutral light, white background. Okay. Neutral light, white background. When you say neutral light, what do you mean? Like, and you know what? Maybe we can do this offline as well if you have some time. I don't want to. Well, I mean, it is my stream, I guess. I could talk about whatever I want. But yeah, no, this is useful stuff. But yeah, I guess I need to just properly get in that mindset and think about like, what does this mean? So I believe the studio also has its own flash equipment that works with the lights that they have. I have like my Godox something, but I don't think it'll trigger. I don't think the triggers will work with their lights. But just in case, I might bring my lights with me as well, just as a backup for if in case something's not compatible. But I do have my flash here. I have like a Godox and another flash equipment, and I've got my 85. I think the largest one I have is an 85 centimeter softbox, and I have a bunch of reflectors. I have a bunch of random stuff like that. But I'm assuming I don't have to go too crazy with it. Like you said, maybe it's like, look, it's a e-commerce product catalog, so they're not looking for like very, very creative shots with crazy colors and like some artistic whatever. It's probably like, no, we just need normal shots that you can see the outfit on the subject very plainly in the best lighting possible. So yeah. So I guess I understand what you mean by white background. Neutral light, I guess I'm curious there. Like, is there like a particular white balance that I should be setting? Photo, you sent a few photos here. Let's check them out. Dun, 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 dun. You said these, but with white background. Gotcha. Yeah, so if I have the white background, which I should, the studio has everything, I'm assuming. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these look great. Yeah, so I imagine it's going to be stuff like this, maybe. Yeah. I'm honestly overthinking it to be like, yeah, just as I always do. Because I don't really think it's going to require much crazy stuff. Because it is like, look, there's a makeup artist and everything, so they're going to look nice. It's just more making sure, technically speaking, I have everything done properly. Like, I just got to make sure that the remote trigger is working, and then I'm assuming I can only shoot it up to like 1/250th. There's that whole concept of, what is it, the TTL, which I don't think this trigger or the flashes that they have in the studio have the thing that allows me to shoot at a faster shutter speed, and I believe the limitation is usually, what is it, like 1/250. But that shouldn't be a problem because these are just standard shots. And then it's really just like, I'm assuming I'll shoot with an 85 millimeter for most of it. It's a big enough studio that I'm sure I can just step away if I need to shoot more wide angle, or a 50 millimeter. And then for the aperture, I'm assuming maybe I'll shoot at like f2.8 or f4 maybe even, or actually probably, yeah, I should be shooting at a higher aperture, just to make sure everything is focused. And we have flash and everything, so yeah. Photo, you said, look how the light is on their face and body. There's no harsh shadows, no dramatic lighting, just two lights at f8. Okay, f8, 85 millimeter. Thank you. Yeah, even just you saying those numbers is super helpful for me. So yeah, maybe I'll just stick with like an f8, make sure everything is sharp. But then, like, yeah, the thing is, I don't really use a lot of flash. I can count on one hand how many times I've done like flash photography. I did do a nice corporate shoot before, so just maybe a little bit of refreshing for myself. But then I just have to think to myself, like, okay, if you're using flash equipment, what does the shot look like before the flash goes off? Like, how dark is your image going to be before you hit the flash? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm assuming I wouldn't do auto ISO. I would just set it to maybe like 100 and then pitch black. Okay, so maybe just do a few sample shots. Before flash, it's pitch black. Huh. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going into thinking mode right now, but here, let me see. I do have my little Lightroom here. Let me see what I can show though. Because I did do a corporate shoot before, and I'm just trying to remember, like, what did I set the... I don't remember any of the things that I did. But I think the results turn out good, but it's just one of those, like, Jesus, I don't do it enough. That's the thing I mentioned before, but like, I'm not trying to go down necessarily the freelance route just yet. I want to put all my money and time into like doing the streams, building a YouTube channel, workshops, stuff like that. Hopefully we can make it big doing that in the long run. And then alternatively, it's like, you know, I should, the more entrepreneurial side of me is telling me I should just, you know, lean in more heavily into like the freelance stuff that I do. Yo, Sid, thank you very much for the raid. Hells yeah, Sid, how are you doing? Thank you. You are too kind. Sid, the Surid. Thank you very much for doing that, for being a raider. Hells yeah. Sid, thank you very much. Hopefully you're having a good day. I'm assuming your day is coming to a close, so if you have to go, I completely understand, but hopefully you had a good stream as well. Who is Shafat? Editing raid. Hells yeah. Who is Shafat? Tell me, who is Shafat? Surid said you're a pro in editing. Emma, that's a high praise for sure. Lovely cat. Yes, this is Nalo over here. We don't know where Kimpop is. Kimpop has not shown his face. So what the hell? Yeah, so we have two cats that are part of our they're basically co-streamers. But I appreciate the high praise. I would say I'm above average in the photo editing, in the category of things that I do. We're looking at photos from someone else. This is Photo Elite. So Photo Elite, I would put into the upper class when it comes to like, he actually understands Photoshop and like, you know, different types of work for clients. And so we're just looking at a few of these because I have an upcoming photo shoot I'm doing for a friend. It's just like kind of like fashion photography, but it's like product fashion, or sorry, product catalog kind of stuff. So nothing crazy. For video editing, I would say I'm probably at around average. I think I have a decent eye for the colors and making something look good. But do I know, like, am I a colorist? Do I know like the technical elements? Do I know exactly the same way with Lightroom, how to make the colors look nice everywhere? Probably not. So that's where we're trying to learn. So most of our time in the past couple years has been spent trying to become videographers, like filmmakers, that kind of stuff. But yeah, thank you for the high praise, Sid. You have two DSLRs. I don't have... Oh yeah, technically I do have DSLRs. I don't use them anymore. I shoot with the Nikon Z9 and the Z6 III, and then hopefully soon with that ZR. So the ZR is the one that we've been talking about in the past few days. So obviously that's the one that got announced by Nikon recently, and I was fortunate enough to be able to shoot with it. So a lot of my streams in the past few days, actually not a lot of it, all of them have been talking about the ZR as we are milking. We're absolutely shamelessly milking as much content as we can around this ZR topic, because we're one of the fortunate few that actually got to shoot with it. So we've been spending a lot of the stream just talking through the behind the scenes. Right now you're watching me work through my next video, which is a product review of the Nikon ZR. So I've just been pulling a few of these clips over that I think would be pertinent to the product review. So some of these are around like the in-body image stabilization of the camera. Some of these are about the audio features, like with the 32-bit float. These ones are just, I don't know yet where to place these. And then we have some shots that are showing the color science. And then in this case, I was shooting a few of these at 6400 ISO. Yo, thank you very much, Shafat. Thank you for the follow. Let me go ahead and give you a follow as well. I appreciate it very much. But yeah, so anyways, we were kind of in video edit mode, but then we were taking a quick break, and Photo was giving me a lot of advice when it comes to how do you shoot like these kind of fashion related photography stuff. And then I was trying to look through my photos to see if I can find quick examples. Was it from this year? No, it was from 2024. Where the hell? Ah, here it is. Okay. Give me a second, guys. We're just trying to pop open a few good examples. Okay, I think I found it. So let's see. All right, so I'm being a little bit like careful what I show, because like some things I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think they're like secretive, but like I just want to be mindful I don't share anything I'm not supposed to necessarily. Yeah, okay, you know what? Just in case I'm not going to show this, just to be careful. Sorry guys, I was like, I was hyping up as if I'm gonna do something crazy, but now we're gonna take a step back. Do do do. Do do do. Okay. Okay, so where were we? Insane, Shafa, again, thank you very much for the follow. Thank you, Sid, for the raid. You're asking about the DSLR, so I usually shoot with the Z9 and the Z6 III. So for instance, the camera that I'm using right now for the stream is my Z6 III that I've just got attached here in front of me. And what else? What else? Do you understand Arabic? Oh yeah, so Low Bass Guy, shout out to Low Bass Guy, but I've got the chat bot here, and it does these like automatic translations, which is really good. Although I think Low Bass was mentioning there might be some things with the translation that it needs to fix, so we'll see. Such clarity, I thought you were a partner. How are you not a partner? Yo, Shafat, thank you for such a good compliment there. Wow, I did not pay you to say that. So we are not Twitch partners. We're gonna get there someday. We started streaming about 2 months ago, so this is day 53. Is it? Yeah, I think it's day 53 of our live stream. And for up until day 46, we did not miss a single day. We were streaming every day around 7 to 8 hours. I was quite proud of it, and we were diligent, right? And I enjoyed it. It turns out I have the endurance for it. But then we took 2 weeks off because we had this amazing project with Nikon with the ZR. So unfortunately, I had to break my running streak. But since I've come back and after we launched the video, now I can kind of get back to a routine here. So I'm not streaming as long. We usually stream about 2 to 3 hours in these coming days, just because I have a few things to catch up on. I have some photo shoots and all that. But yeah, we've been enjoying it, and I think if I continue doing this for, let's call it a year, if I do this for a year straight, in between my travels, hopefully, and just mixing in and balancing things out, we hope that we will reach Twitch partner or something like that. If we're consistent. So thank you very much. I'm glad you think we have the caliber of being a partner. We just got to prove it out now in the numbers. But yeah, thank you guys for those wonderful compliments. And yes, the bot understands Arabic. It didn't translate his question because his question was mostly English. Oh, interesting. Okay. 54. Photo Elite, you said 54. What is 54? Is this like a code language here? I don't know. Okay, so in the meantime, what you're seeing me do, guys, for the newcomers, we're just looking through some of these footages that I have, and I'm trying to find examples where I shot the scene the proper way. And what I mean by that is because we're so new to filmmaking and videography and stuff, most people will say that if you're shooting, if you have access to a waveform or a histogram or something like that, you should be looking at the waveform, which you see in the bottom right, and it should technically be either mid-level or slightly high level, which is just basically saying the shot is slightly above your average exposure or like a balanced exposure. So hence your shot while you're filming should look slightly overexposed, as it does here. It's very bright, as opposed to shooting where it's much darker, which is my tendency. So like, let's imagine if I shot it like this, and the rationale is mainly to do with the fact that in post-production, while you're editing, it's much more difficult to lift the shadows and like retain a lot of the data that's in the black dark areas without introducing a lot of like graininess or noise or artifacts. Whereas if you had shot it originally at a slightly overexposed look, it's much easier to actually drop down the lighting essentially, and remove a bit of the noise and actually have a lot more data that's rescued in the bright areas, but you can still drop it down into the darker region and it's fine. So anyways, I didn't necessarily follow that logic for all of my shots, because that was more just like my own irrational fear about it, because like it feels weird. I will say, it feels weird when you're filming and you have this look on your monitor is showing you this shot where it's like slightly above, like overexposed, and you have that irrational fear like, ooh, wait, what happens then if when I edit the file it turns out it was actually overexposed, and then the white color of the shirt or the sky is actually completely blown out and I can't fix it. Yo, thank you very much. What a day. Thank you very much for the subscription. Hells yeah. Wow. Thank you for being a tier 1 subber. It feels awesome to know that people are willing to put their hard-earned money and their time time more than anything, really. But like, just, you know, the fact that you guys are putting in time, energy, money into the stream, thank you very much. I promise you, it's a good investment. You might not see your money back for sure, but in terms of the value, the entertainment factor, come on. Where else can you get this awesome experience, right? Thank you very much. Much deserved, you said. Thank you. Photo Elite 54, you're on day 54, according to your own title. Yo, my memory is like a, what did I say? My brain is like a sieve, and everything just flows in and then goes out. I forgot.
This voice alone is worth the price of admission.
I still need to turn off that first voice dono sound, but I don't know how to. We also need to change the TTS voice. It's been a while. We had Baymax, but you know, Baymax is all good. But thank you guys. Thank you very much. Yes, I completely forgot. It's day 54, not day 53. It's the problem is on the titles. I have the number at the very, very end, and I can't see it from my view. So anyways, and my memory's not good enough. So, yeah, it's good bot. Yeah. So if you have any questions about anything technical, Low Bass Guy is the man for that. So shout out to him and the community that he's put together, which is the one you see now in the chat bot, so the web creative community. So I feel very fortunate that this web of his, of like all these content creators, somehow discovered my channel when I was starting the stream early on. So yeah, and the community's been awesome on Twitch and YouTube as well, but it's been really cool to meet all these photographers, videographers, artists, creators on Twitch, and everyone's super supportive. So yeah. All right. So anyways, yeah, with this shot, overexposed, but apparently that's the way you're supposed to film. And so now I'm kind of getting over that fear. So I do, lesson learned, and thankfully I didn't ruin the film by doing it this way, but we can see the quality ends up being really nice if we actually lean into the overexposure. And the crazy thing is this shot was in 6400 ISO. So that kind of concept, I'm not probably going to talk about it too much in the product review just because it would end up taking too much time. I am going to make a behind the scenes video about the documentary where I'll break down the entire workflow of how I made the documentary. But that'll be a separate video. For this one, a thought that I do want to share, at least on the live stream and eventually, is that coming from a photography first perspective, I want everything to be shared in the sense of like, hey, I'm not an expert, but I went from photography and now I'm trying to get into videography. And as someone that goes in that direction, here are some of the pitfalls. Here are some of the maybe the key, you know, mistakes you might make, or things that the questions you might have if you come from more photography background. And for me, the concept of shooting anything at such a high ISO feels like a warning, like a red flag should go off. Like, what? Like, you're going to shoot at 6400 ISO? Are you sure about that? And so now obviously I'm learning more and more that in the video world, that's not necessarily the same kind of logic. And my understanding is that the way this camera with the dual native ISO means that when you shoot at 6400 ISO, essentially it's like at a level where there's no digital noise that's being added in from, it's like the second best version of like the sensor being able to capture clean shot without applying digital noise to the actual shot itself. So if you use those base ISOs, supposedly you'll get the cleanest shots. But even me saying that, I have no idea if I said anything correct. So, hey, thank you very much, Dre, the one and only Dre Spartan. Thank you very much for subscribing on the YouTube. Yo, YouTube's been popping off recently, and I probably have to attribute it all to this this documentary film I made. So, thank you guys very much for being so supportive and for joining our community. Hello, Yo Bell. Hello, chat, says Daytor, all the way from Germany. Thank you very much for being here, Daytor. Wait, is it not Daytor? Is there, how do you pronounce it, by the way? Datore. I'm going to call you Dat Or. Thank you very much, That Or. Licky Licky, says Shafat. Oh, wait, hold on. I missed a few things here. I'm looking to grab a used Sony camcorder compact camera. Anything that's similar to my Pixel phone camera, which is your second phone. What do you suggest? Looking for a good 1080p max webcam camera. I'll have better luck with cameras 2 years older. Also open to cameras with upgrade path. Oh man, this is a very technical question, which I think I'm not the most equipped for. But Wait, what's the use case for this? Is this like for streaming, you're saying? Or is this like for out and about shooting? As for like webcams, I think I don't have much experience with webcams, but for instance, the one I'm using now for my cat camera, it's a Logitech. It's one of those like it's like a Logitech 4K camera, and it's pretty straightforward. Like, you know, bare bones, whatever. But the quality seems to be pretty decent. I'm trying to poke my cat right now. Good girl. Wait, wrong way. There we go. Good girl. Yeah, so this is a Logitech 4K webcam, and it works really well. I have no complaints. Obviously, it's not as powerful as, like, you know, the mirrorless cameras and stuff. But yeah, sorry, I'm not so familiar with these. What might be a good option for you? And then also, what's your price range? I'll have better luck with, but you're looking for a maximum 1080. Yeah. It's pronounced Billy Joel. Okay, thank you. It's all okay. Kitty cares not for what's happening here. Yeah, she's the most passive whenever I'm bothering the shit out of her. So, shout out to Nala. Okay, so anyways, these shots were shot at 6400 ISO, and like I said, as a photographer, I would freak out at the thought of that. But here we are learning. We're learning that actually this is great. So I should always shoot at 64. Oh no, you should. So basically, my understanding is shoot at 800. That's the lower base ISO. But then when you're in low light situations, you can feel comfortable shooting at 6400 ISO. And technically, I believe the Sony FX3 and the other, like, I think the Sony FX3, the second base ISO is like 12,800, something like that. So 6400 is nothing compared to some of these other guys. So, let's drag this one over as well. Did I already? 1687. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Should I include this? Let me think.
Almost in the 40.
This one, you can actually see a lot of noise here. So I'm kind of curious. Let me just look at the back end. So 1686, I can only assume these were all shot the same way. 1686. 6400 ISO with the 35mm lens. Yeah, that's all I got. So that for this one, I am noticing a lot more noise in here for what it's worth. Have I done anything? Did I make it? So I'm assuming I actually did dial in the ND filter onto this one, because it looks like the settings were all the same. And then I must have just increased the stops on the ND filter. But I am noticing a lot more noticeable noise in the background here. But it's not actually terrible. And I'm going to go ahead and apply a bit of that noise reduction. And just like that, you'll notice that all the noise has disappeared. Now, in exchange, the subjects are slightly softer, but not in a... It's not too bad, actually. It's pretty decent. And if I wanted to be, like, super granular, I guess I could try that auto mask feature and try to, like, have it only apply the noise reduction to the background and then maybe either less or none onto the subjects, possibly. But I don't know. Actually, I like it as is. So the other thing I'm learning is to not be afraid of noise. I think I'd rather deal with noise than deal with a bad focused shot. So it's better to have the focus proper and end up with like a lot of noise in the shot versus like have a clean shot, but then your focus is off. So yeah. Photo, you said pretty much anything from the A6000 series. Secondhand is going to be a good bet for this with high versatility outside of being just a webcam. That's a good point, yeah, because like I was mentioning, the first camera I ever used was Sony A6000, and occasionally I'll hear people saying like, oh, I'm considering the A6000. So it's cool to see that that camera still has held its value for so long, because I used that camera like what? At this point, maybe like 7-8 years ago. But to be fair, I've never used it for video, so I have no idea how the video quality is. Low base, he said, better a noisy image than a blurry image or no image. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, and also with these new software, or like every time there's a firmware update, or with these like powerful editing programs, the editing programs do a really good job with removing noise, and you see it a lot with the photo editing, right? So Lightroom has really good noise reduction now, the denoising. Topaz, which is a program I use quite often, it's excellent for that. But it's much more difficult to try to turn a blurry shot into a focus shot. So, okay. So anyways, though, I think we have so many of these already dragged in, but this is a cool shot for what it's worth. Let's see. I have moments where, so here I was trying to do the walk away shot, or like coming in closer. So maybe that part we'll keep. So let's just drag this over as well. This is like the way I normally work is I go through like filtering processes. So this is like the first filter where a lot of it's making it through. And then as we do a second pass through, we'll obviously be a bit more judicious, I guess, with choosing the shots. We'll probably end up using this shot because it's a good example of shooting in low light, but then also with a very, very bright source, which is obviously the sun. And to me, I felt like the colors are very, very, very sharp, or it's rich. It's very rich color tones. So let's go ahead and keep that. And maybe this one as well. We got a nice close up here. Okay, yeah, we'll keep these two. And what would I categorize this as? This is a dynamic range test. So we'll probably still put it into the same, it'll be part of the first feature review on the red color science and like shooting in this. Troy, you said that's such underrated advice. Embrace noise. You can fix in post, blur can't. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is underrated. I guess, maybe, yeah, I guess I wish someone had told me that when I was starting off as a photographer. So yeah, in that sense, maybe it is good for everyone to hear. Yeah, because we have these fears, right? And one of those fears that we hear all the time as a photographer, and also now for videography, but like for photography, it's like, oh, you got a noisy shot, and like, oh, that's so, you know, it's like, oh, I wish we didn't do this, and you know, you got to shoot in the lowest ISO so you get rid of the noise. And then you end up in real life situations where like you can't always shoot in that perfect 100 or 64 ISO. And then now you just have to be comfortable or feel like you didn't waste the shot because it's blurry. It's like feel comfortable shooting at 6400 ISO or 10,000 ISO. The cameras are getting much more powerful too. So yeah, I wish someone had told me that at an early stage, that noisy shots, as Low Bay said, better a noisy image than a blurry image or no image. I like that. Dynamic Range was my other stripper name in college. Nice. You know, I feel like Low Base, that joke, the running joke you got about your stripper names, although I don't know if you're joking at this point. You might actually have been a stripper in your former life. It reminds me of, with one of my close friends, we always do the joke where you like anytime you end a word with ER, and you always do like the hardly knower joke. So it'd be like trying to look for an item here that will think of a word. I was gonna say photographer, but that doesn't really work. Damn it, I'm drawing a blank. What is a word? Okay, number. Oh, that also doesn't really work. But if someone said number and you were like, number, I hardly know her, you know, that kind of stupid joke. But we do it for everything, even when it doesn't work. So how many did you have? The number is a mystery, lost to time. Stripper. Oh yeah, the word was right in front of me. Stripper, I hardly know her. And then we would laugh and we'd be like, wow, mature, excellent. We're like straight up comedians over here. Okay, anyways. We got that nice little, like, you know, slow motion, thoughtful walk along the pier. I wonder, this could be a good one for showing the dynamic range. Yeah, even this shot right here. So this, I feel like, is a good example of like a shot that I wouldn't have been able to even get, you know, here we were. We had, you know, everything in terms of the settings were set for him here in this kind of lighting situation. And out of nowhere, we end up having to pivot in terms of where we're focusing. And now we're shooting directly against the sun. So now you can see, obviously, the waveforms are going crazy. But even with the crazy waveforms, you're actually seeing color throughout the entire shot. And I'm not good enough to really explain this properly. But I do feel like in a comparison with like if I had shot this with my other cameras, I don't think I would have been able to maintain this level of like dynamic range. I have a feeling with the even the Z9, the Z6 IIIs and all them, a lot of this would have been pure white. So to feel like I have this peachy shot here, with only like minimal areas where I feel like for sure it's overexposed, like that, the way the light reflects on the water just along here, I'm assuming is pure white. And then even, yeah, obviously the sun in the center there. But then like in terms of the radius around it, a lot of this is nice pastel-y peach colors. So even with the fact that we probably had the incorrect settings because we were, you know, everything was set more from when he was shooting there, this ends up being fairly decent all around. A usable shot at the very least. So we'll keep this one as well for potential use for the dynamic range discussion over here. Oh shoot, I didn't copy it over. Okay, what about these shots? I mean, these ones are great because to me, again, it's showing the fact that you are capturing a lot of good gradients in the background. So it's like turning a dull shot into something still, yeah, how would I describe this? I feel like the fact that it's capturing colors, even in areas that look somewhat flat and dull, is another good testament to the quality here. Dun, 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 dun. So instead of it being pure white, you're seeing like shades of color in this like area that normally wouldn't end up with a lot of color in there. The blues look nice. So possibly I guess we can use it, but this could be a good example maybe for the stabilization. Let's see how unstable I was. So I would say like a decent amount of shakiness. So then if I took this entire thing and applied a bit of stabilization to it, let's see how much it crops in. Let's see how usable it is. All right. And also guys, it's 8:13 p.m. over here. So I'm probably gonna have to wind this down in the next few minutes because I need to mentally start preparing for tomorrow's photo shoot, and it is gonna be like an entire day ordeal. So I would say the chances of me streaming tomorrow are like as close to 2% or under, so basically 0. Okay, so now let's check out this shot. So it's a little bit shaky. There's a little bit of like jitters there. So to be fair, like I think a lot of this doesn't look too good. Let's see if we can change it up a bit. No. Okay. Now a lot of this is actually unusable. So I think the way I was doing it is not actually a good example. So let's try again. Because that, for whatever reason, whatever I was trying to do there, it actually made the shot look way worse. So we might have a good example of when it doesn't work well. Let's turn this off again. Let's look at this again. So yeah, clearly a lot of crazy shake on my part. And the question is, can we fix this without making it look so terrible? And unfortunately, I did make it look very terrible. Okay, but in the meantime, as we're trying to fix this, 8:15 p.m. This might be the last thing we kind of work through. I don't know. It looks pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. At least with the DaVinci stabilization, it's like very, very jittery. That's actually very, very terrible. What can we do to fix this? Hello, BT, BEATY. Part of me feels like I've seen your name before in the chat, but I can't tell. So if you are new to the stream, thank you for being here. And if you are someone who's been here before, I apologize for not recognizing your name instantly. But thank you for saying hello. We were trying to fix this shot, but I you know what? For the life of me, I'm doing a terrible job with this. So we might have a good example where the stabilization actually didn't compensate for my lack of steadiness here. So I think one time before you said, Beatty. No worries. Well, listen, I appreciate you being here. Now, I do apologize for different reasons now, which is the fact that I'm trying to wind down the stream just because I have a photo shoot tomorrow, and it's going to be all day. So unfortunately, that means right now mentally, well, there's a few things. I have to also like just make sure I have, cleaned out memory cards and batteries are all set up properly, and then everything, all the settings are proper because I'm normally in like wildlife mode and this is for people. So for all those reasons, I just need a few hours just to make sure all my gear is set up and ready to go. And the photo shoot is literally all day. So I got to wake up early and we're going to have no rest. So, not that I'm complaining, it's a paid gig, right? But, yeah, it just means there's a few more things I need to get done. Dude, oh yeah. Okay. So anyways, now I do want to do a little bit of a raid, if you guys don't mind, as we're closing it off, at least for the Twitch people. I apologize. I don't know how to do raids on YouTube and Kick and stuff, but on the Twitch side, we were trying to raid someone yesterday, Frangipani, but then unfortunately, I think as I raided her, she ended her stream. So I feel like I need to try again, right? So let me just double check. I believe Frangipani is live. Hey, what's up, Raiden? Raiden, last time, did I call you Piyush and I was wrong? I apologize. But anyways, Raiden, what's up, what's up? Low Base, you said, if you don't AI in Godzilla coming out of the water at the end of that dock, why are you even here? If we can get to that point where we can show him just being just a casual walk. Actually, it's better when he's walking towards me. So imagine a shot like this. He's walking towards me, and then behind him, a big-ass Godzilla pops out. That would be cool. Maybe we can get to that level of technical skills one day. We're not there yet. BD said, oh, nice. I feel that. Just finished a 12-camera prep myself. What? Wait, what do you mean a 12-camera prep? Are you one of those guys who did the... I didn't see 28 years later, but I saw that viral clip online where they were showing like, oh, we shot this scene with like 1,000 different iPhones all set up in this crazy rig with all these crazy other things attached to it. But hey, we can say shot on iPhone, but it was like a crazy concept where they like did a 360 degree with a bunch of iPhones. Is that what you mean by a 12 camera prep? I've never... When do you need 12 cameras? I'm trying to think what kind of event. Maybe we could do a 12 camera live stream setup, right? So we'll have one camera here, and then I'll just look over here, and I'll have a stream deck, and boom, I'm talking to you from this angle. And then we got one up here, and then we got one up there. Obviously, we got our cat cams and everything. So now we're talking. Anyways, low key, I thought you were calling this guy Godzilla. Wait, which guy? This guy. Nah, man. I mean, that would be a compliment for sure. But no, he's Dr. Rakundo. He's the main character in our documentary that we made. So let me just do a nice little plug, although it is pinned, but it doesn't hurt to always shout out myself as much as possible. We are looking at footages from the Nikon ZR, which is, it was a pre-production unit, but I was invited to shoot before their release, or the announcement. And so I was able to shoot with it for a few days. And then I spent a week or less than a week or so, but like editing. And then we made a beautiful little documentary, which I'm very proud of. It's on my YouTube channel. It's on that link. It's 5 minutes. If you guys have some time, feel free to check it out. Watch it in full. Leave me a beautiful comment. Talk about how amazing I am and like, how you switch from Sony to Nikon just because of this video. All those kind of things that I can then report back to Nikon. But yeah, feel free to do that. Subscribe to me on YouTube, of course. I would appreciate it. But yeah, so anyways, that's what we've been doing is just kind of reviewing the ZR camera, my thoughts about it, kind of just testing it out for ourselves, right? the good and the bad. So this is an example where the stabilization did not work as intended, or for the amount of motion that I had, it's not doing a good job of fixing it. Maybe we can figure it out later, but now I need to wind down. Strap some to the cats. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. If I do a little instead of Go 3, or I guess I can attach like I have some other action cameras. We attach it to the cat, and then can you set it up wirelessly to a live stream? I don't know. That could be interesting. You said no, 12 cameras is usually a small prep in my world. 18 to 35 cameras is my usual prep. I'm so confused and interested. I'm intrigued by what you mean by that. Yeah, I'm intrigued. But listen, we'll leave the intrigue for later. I'll try to guess. BD, if you hop into yeah, actually, you know what? I want to hear your answer. So let's listen to this. BD, can you answer Photo Elite's question? What kind of production do you work on? We are all waiting with bated breath. TV or a movie? Or both? And I will laugh if the answer ends up being something like super hilarious. Like, I don't know. What would be the most ridiculous response to someone asking, like, what do you need 12 cameras for? Or 35 cameras? If she said, if BD says it's like an ASMR channel or something, I would laugh at that. I mean, I would also laugh if you said you work at like a Best Buy or something, where it's like, well, I mean, technically I turn on all the cameras at the Best Buy shop, and there's like 35 of them sometimes. You're not lying, you're not wrong, but obviously that would be a curveball from the expectations. BD, you said, yeah, Troy, I was going to guess sports as well. BD, you said, well, a variety of film/TV projects, narrative feature-length work. Oh, wow. Series, music videos, commercials. But a lot of my specialty work does involve high-scale concert films, typically for theatrical releases. Yo, that sounds pretty epic. Newborn photo shoot. Yeah. Actually, that would be really cool too. Like doing like one of those kind of viral car shoots, but just of a baby in every angle. A fair bit of comedy specials. Damn. Well, that makes sense then to have all those cameras. You need a huge variety for those. Well, BD, if you have any of your work that you're able to show, I don't know if sometimes you're not allowed to, but if you have any examples, feel free to share them. And then also, BD, if you're not, if you would like to join our Discord community, I am here trying to collect all of you people who are very talented in this kind of space, whether it's photography, videography, just being artists in general or content creators. And so hopefully we can learn from each other, share our work, support each other and all that stuff. So if you would like to, if you have access to Discord or you play around with it, feel free to join the Discord community. I would love to see you in the chat more often as well. We are back to live streaming every day, except for, like I said, tomorrow I won't be able to stream because we'll be doing a shoot throughout the day. I should be back the next day, and then we have another shoot right after. But yeah, I would love to see, and I would love to learn from you, BD, because it sounds like there's a lot of knowledge in that noggin of yours. I say we. From my side, I will say I am an aspiring filmmaker. So like I mentioned, we are talking about this new camera, and this was the very first time I ever got to do something that was a bit more like professional in the sense of like, not like a travel vlog, which is what I'm more accustomed to creating so far in our YouTube journey. But to try to like, this was my first time doing a documentary as like a short film. So it was a fun process, but there's a lot of things I'm sure that I did incorrectly, as well as like I could have done better. So the only way to know is if I have people like yourselves, everyone who's been so super, everyone who's knowledgeable and has been sharing their knowledge in the chat. That's the only way for me to also develop. So selfishly, I always appreciate that. Okay, so with all of that said, though, unfortunately, I am going to have to put this to an end. Now, I think Frangipani is still streaming. Let me just quickly double check. Is she there? Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and give Frangipani. Am I saying her name right? I don't know. Frangipani. We're gonna give her a raid. For those of you on the Twitch side, I do apologize. We're having such a fun stream, and I feel bad that I have to put it to a close. But we are doing our best to try to find balance in our life. And unfortunately, we have a little bit of a craziness coming up in the next few days. But Frangie is an epic photo editor. I've seen, we've raided into her a few times before, and so she does some really awesome work. So, yeah, I think we'll leave you in good hands. What's the raid message? I don't even know what that means. Wait, I'm so new to this. I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what you're talking about. And I have 50 seconds to figure out what a raid message is and how to get it implemented. Let's see, low base, not sure if you saw my message about getting raid suggestions, but if you ever don't know who you want, the bot can give you raid suggestions if you type !raid. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll have to do that next time then. You can use the bot to get a raid call if you'd like. Something like this. If you type raid call username, raid call. What, so then are you saying I do !raid call and then I put in my username, like Yobel Prize? God, I'm such a noob. No time to explain. Yeah, you know what? Let's not worry about it. We're just going to do a little good old-fashioned raid without the sparks. But listen, guys, thank you very much for being here. We had an epic stream. Thank you all of you guys who have subscribed. Thank you, Shafat, for the subscription and the people who